1. The rain was getting thicker outside the window. In the small apartment of 30 square meters, Nan Feng was lying on the sofa, lying a little tired, silently. Salted fish turned over. I just turned down my buddy's invitation to go fishing 3 days later. Right now, I just want to mess around. Even if he wakes up, he has changed from a nearly 40-year-old uncle to a handsome boy who has just turned 18. And he is still in a world where his favorite game and anime Pokemon in his previous life merged with reality. But poor people don't deserve to be a trainer. Nan Feng is not an orphan, but now that his parents are farming in the countryside, sending himself to the provincial capital to study is already the limit. If you want to afford to raise a Pokemon, it's too difficult. The Pokemon in the breeding center costs 5 or 6,000 yuan for the bottom line, and the royal family starts from 100,000 yuan. There is no way to buy quasi-divine beasts. The dude asked himself to go fishing to help him catch a Pokemon as the Earl Dervish Pokemon. He has already thought about it and captures a Poliwag for Nan Feng. Although Poliwag is a common Pokemon, it has good potential and can undergo 2 stages of evolution. In the end, the evolutionary fast-swimming frog is also a very powerful Pokemon, even an elite-level powerhouse. Develop it as the main force. But Nan Feng still refused. There was not much money to buy Pokemon. He gritted his teeth and saved it for a few months. But the money for raising Pokemon is the bulk. Forget it, go to an ordinary university, and then consider breeder Pokemon after you graduate and work to earn money. This was the case with myself in my previous life, and I wouldn't be able to try to become a trainer after I had some savings at the age of 35. It's not that Nan Feng didn't think about using the memory of his previous life to make money, but with the existence of Pokemon in this world, the process and result of things have been greatly deflected, and the memory of his previous life has been completely changed. Reliable. You're not as ambitious as you are. Who said that a middle-aged trainer can't become a champion? Nan Feng encouraged himself, barely recovering from the sad atmosphere. He lowered his head and glanced at the handheld in front of him. Forget it, now that I can't become a trainer in reality, I'd better enjoy myself in the game first. Open the handheld, there is only one game in it. Pokemon Collection, huh? Is there such a game? Nan Feng was stunned for a moment. He really likes to play Pokemon games, and he has downloaded a lot of Pokemon games, but when will there be a collection? Did you forget to play after downloading it? No. There are no games from previous lives in this world. They should be Pokemon games in this world. Nan Feng suddenly became interested and hurriedly sat up from the sofa. Click to enter the game. The screen goes black and a dialog box pops up. Please select the version that Earl Dervish entered. Optional versions: red, blue, green, gold, silver, ruby, sapphire, emerald. This isn't the game version of the previous life? Nan Feng casually ordered an emerald. The first few versions are too old. I remember that when I played it, it was still black and white, and emerald is the version of his real game. A familiar picture immediately appeared, and the protagonist was being sent to Littleroot Town with a pile of furniture in a van. Why isn't there a selection interface and a naming interface? Nan Feng remembered that he had to pinch people before the game started. The screen suddenly stopped, the car stopped, and the protagonist got out of the truck. His mother was already waiting below. After welcoming the arrival of the protagonist is brought into the house, where several Vigoroths are moving furniture, and then the mother asks the protagonist to visit his father's friend Professor Birch's house. Can't you set the alarm? There are quite a few differences between emeralds in this world and emeralds in previous lives. Nan Feng controlled the character to go to Professor Birch's house next door. Professor Birch was not at home, and Oda Maki's wife signaled that the protagonist could go upstairs to rest and wait for a while. Nan Feng manipulated the protagonist to leave directly, and immediately had a face-to-face with a girl. The other party is Oda Maki's daughter Mei, who will also be his strong enemy along the way. After saying hello, the protagonist left Odakamaki's house. When passing by the gate of the town, a little girl at the door told the protagonist that growl was coming from the door. It seemed that someone was in trouble and asked the protagonist to go out and have a look. Control the protagonist to walk out of Littleroot Town and enter the 101 route. As soon as he walked out, he saw a Zigzagoon chasing a fat man in a white researcher costume running around the grass. Professor. Hey, that handsome guy over there, save me. The protagonist spread his hands to indicate that he did not have a Pokemon. Professor. I have spare Pokemon in my bag. Use them to fight. The protagonist steps up and selects the Pokemon. The classic choice of 3 is here. The 3 Pokeballs correspond to Hoenn's 3 royal houses: Mudkip, Torchic, and Trico. Considering the gym attribute to be played in the early stage of Hoenn region, the easiest choice should be Mudkip, followed by Trico, and then Torchic. Let's choose Torchic this time. When Nanfeng played the game before, Mudkip and Trico had cleared the level, and he was considered a veteran. So why not just go straight? Choose Torchic. The familiar and urgent sound of battle came. The screen turned, and the battle began. LV5's Torchic versus LV3's Zigzagoon. Wait, don't rush to fight. Open Pokemon's attribute first to check. Torchic, Fire, Level, 5 ability, Fierce Fire. When HP is less than 1, 3, the power of Fire-type moves increases by 1.5 times. Individual values: Stamina, 25, Attack, 20, Special Attack, 7, Defense, 31, Special Defense, 31, Speed, 17. Skills: Ember, Growl, Tackle, Carrying items. None. Is there an individual value setting? Nanfeng raised his eyebrows. But this Torchic is too shabby. The individual value of a Pokemon represents the growth of the Pokemon, with a lower limit of 0 and an upper limit of 31. The attribute that reaches the full value of 31 is also called Veal right now. This Torchic is a 2V Pokemon with defense plus special defense. But you're not a defensive Pokemon. No, choosing Torchic itself is a difficult game experience, and you have to use such individual values. Even if you cannot use it in the future, it will waste time to cultivate Pokemon in the early stage. Thinking of this, Nanfeng decisively turned off the handheld and turned it on again. Repeat the previous process again. Go to Professor Birch's house to meet his rival, then go to 101 route to rescue Professor Birch. This time the result was even worse. There was not a single V, and the individual attack value was still 1 point. Reopen. Come again. The third time, AV, physical attribute. Reopen. Come again. Fourth time, fifth time, sixth time. By the time the meal was over, Nanfeng had forgotten how many times he had reopened. In fact, Nanfeng's requirements for the first Torchic are not high, just 3V, 3V for attack, special attack plus speed, and attribute 10 or above for others. If it doesn't reach 31 points, then 29 and 30 are barely enough, but the problem is not solved. In this regard, Nanfeng was not discouraged. Where is this going? When I played the modified version of Pokemon on my mobile phone, I used a normal Pokeball to catch the blood-filled NTI, and this Pokeball was thrown for a whole day. And, compared to brushing shiny Pokemon, it's just a trifle. Often people brush for a month, but they don't even get a single flash. Except for the Shizue version and the special revision, I have never encountered a flash until now. It's an old unlucky one. I heard that when you lead Earl Dervish Pokemon, there is also a certain chance to dodge, even higher than the probability of encountering dodge in the grass. I am brushing high V at the same time as I am brushing flash. Thinking this way, Nanfeng is more motivated. Order a takeaway, open Xiaopa Station, and watch anime while swiping V and flashing. Until 11:03 p.m. Nanfeng finally got the Torchic he wanted. Torchic, Fire, Level, 5 ability, Acceleration. Pokemon holding this ability increases the speed by 1 level at the end of each turn. Individual values: Stamina, 28, Attack, 31, Special Attack, 31, Defense, 31, Special Defense, 31, Speed, 31, Skills: Ember, Growl, Tackle, Carrying items, none 5V. And the physical strength is as high as 28 points, which can almost be regarded as a 6V Pokemon. Ability is a rare dream ability, Acceleration. Perfect. Except that it is not a shiny Pokemon. This Torchic is already a top match. Woohoo. Take off. No need to reopen this time. Nanfeng immediately took command of the fight, allowing Torchic to take out Zigzagoon with 2 Ember shots. Defeat Zigzagoon LV3, gain experience 20 Nanfeng was keenly aware of the improvement in Torchic's experience. The normal Emerald version, defeating this Zigzagoon, the Torchic of LV5 should be upgraded soon, but it has only jumped a small grid, 1/20th of the entire experience slot. Is the experience needed also increased? Nanfeng pondered. It doesn't matter, it's just leveling up. It's just a few more laps in the grass. It's simple. Defeat Zigzagoon, save Professor Birch, and follow Professor Birch back to the laboratory. He gave the Torchic to the protagonist and asked the protagonist to go to the 103 road to find his daughter. I looked at the time. It was after 11 o'clock. It was almost time to rest, save it first, and then continue playing tomorrow. Nanfeng stretched. Do you want to record and exit? Quit the game after recording? Nanfeng remembered that the previous version was not like this. Record recording. Recording completed. Exiting the game. The handheld screen went black. At the same time, only a dong sound was heard, and a Pokeball fell in front of Nanfeng. 2. See the Pokeball in front of you. Nan Feng was stunned for a moment, looked up at the ceiling, and there was only a bright incandescent lamp. So, where did this thing fall from? Also, I haven't bought a Pokeball either. Even an empty Pokeball costs $200 in the official store. Just as Nan Feng reached out to pick up the Pokeball with a bang, the Pokeball opened by itself. An orange-red chick jumped out of it. Jichi, greater than over equal to less than over equal to. It is a Torchic, with an orange appearance all over his body, and his big black eyes are full of excitement. It blinked its big eyes and looked at Nan Feng, then ran around him happily, rubbing Nan Feng's palm with its furry body. Fire! Torchic? Nan Feng's eyes widened as he felt such a real touch in the palm of his hand. Where did this Torchic Pokeball come from? Looking around, Nan Feng finally locked his gaze on his handheld. Just now, he got a Torchic in the handheld, and now a Pokeball with Torchic suddenly appeared. Nan Feng immediately had a bold guess. He quickly turned on the handheld again, and the game that appeared on his interface was no longer a Pokemon collection, but Pokemon Emerald. Never mind, advanced games. Entering the game, Nan Feng manipulated the characters out of Littleroot Town, passed through the 101 route, passed through Gume Town, and found his rival May at the end of the 103 route. According to the plot, May initiates a battle invitation to the protagonist. The option to deny appeared unexpectedly. Nan Feng chose to refuse without hesitation. Now I have no time to fight with you and play. After talking to May, go back to the laboratory. Advertisement in the laboratory. Professor Birch gave the protagonist a Pokemon Pokédex and 5 Pokeballs. After running out of the laboratory, she was stopped by her mother again at the door of the house. She handed the protagonist a pair of wind speed shoes. Putting on the wind speed shoes, the protagonist's running speed will be faster. I plunged into the 101 route, and after taking a few steps, the screen turned and entered the battle scene. Rival is a Zigzagoon LV2. In the standard Emerald version, the Pokemon that will jump out of the grass on 101 route are nothing more than Zigzagoon, Wurmple, and Poochyena. Nan Feng asked Torchic to attack with Ember once. Zigzagoon's health bar immediately fell to the bottom and turned red. It was the best time to catch it, and he threw the Pokeball directly. After shaking the Pokeball twice, the color darkened and it was successfully captured. Zigzagoon, normal, level 2T ability. Picking up, there is a certain chance to pick up items after the battle. Individual values. Stamina, 22. Attack, 31. Special attack, 20. Defense, 15. Special defense, 21. Speed, 31. Skills, growl, tackle, carrying items. None. The panel is not bad. It's a 2V Pokemon for attack and speed. But even if the attribute is good, Nan Feng is not going to cultivate it. The purpose of capturing it is not to cultivate it. Exit the Pokemon's attribute screen and immediately select Save. Do you want to record and exit? Record recording. Recording completed. Exiting the game. The handheld screen went black. Advertisement at the same time. After a series of dong dong dong, 4 empty Pokeballs plus a Pokeball with Zigzagoon, as well as a Pokédex and a pair of running shoes fell in front of Nan Feng. Even the items inside fell out. Nan Feng was instantly ecstatic. He originally guessed that the Pokemon he acquired in the game will appear in the real world after he records and archives it. Now it seems that not only the Pokemon, but also the items inside can fall out. Nan Feng took a deep breath. When he first came to this world, he was still worried about not having a golden finger. He never thought that his golden finger was always by his side, but he didn't realize it. But it's not too late to find out. Become a trainer? No, I'm going to be an elite, a champion, and even a Pokemon master. Nan Feng was immediately full of pride and ambition. You can get Pokemon and props from the game, so the problem of lack of resources will not exist at all. I even want quasi-gods, shiny Pokemons, 6V top potential Pokemons, and even divine beasts. In reality, every mythical beast is an existence that destroys the world, but in the game, in a turn-based battle, the action of throwing a Pokeball is fixed at the fastest speed. You can shut down and restart at any time and throw an afternoon Pokeball to catch any eye. Let me throw Pokeball for 1 month and catch any eye for 1 year. Nan Feng will do it without hesitation. Besides, he doesn't seem to need to do that. The legendary Pokemon in the Emerald Edition are only level 70. I upgraded the Pokemon to level 70, got a 6 on 1 wheel, and controlled the non-stop throwing of the ball. Where it takes a year, a few minutes are enough. The drowsiness that Nan Feng had just woken up has long since disappeared. He took out his mobile phone and silently ordered errands, just a box of Red Bull and a box of coffee. Today, I don't sleep if the moon doesn't sleep, I'm a bald baby. What about baldness? Only being bald can prove that I have become stronger. Tribute to an already invincible bald cape. 3. Drink Red Bull, drink coffee. Turn on the handheld and start the night. Entering the game, the protagonist is still in the 101 route. Without leaving, Nanfeng continued to control the protagonist to spin around in the grass on 101 route. When he just drank Red Bull and coffee, Nanfeng was thinking, how can he quickly obtain props from the game, become rich, and realize financial freedom? It is a good way to make money by advancing the plot and picking up props on the road. In the game, each map may have several props waiting to be picked up on the ground. Among them, there are many props that cost tens of thousands of evolution stones. Once one is sold, Pokemon's rations will be available for a month or two. But this is only a one-time harvest. After all, the things picked up will not grow back by themselves. This is the same as defeating the NPCs on the roadside in the game to obtain money, and then going to the store to buy props to convert them into reality. They are all non-renewable resources. What they are really looking for should be a sustainable development path. The first thing Nanfeng thought of was a skill named Thief. In the game, fight against Trainer, use Thief to steal Rival's props for yourself, and return them to Rival after the battle. But if Rival is a Pokemon in the wild, so where is there any reason to return this thing to the other party? Proper 0 yuan purchase behavior. However, Thief skill machine can only be obtained in the middle of the game, and reality is not a game, let alone a skill machine. If you want to learn, you can only be taught by a teacher who masters the Thief skill learning method. This cost, at least for the current self, it is completely an unaffordable price. The 0 yuan purchase plan has been put on hold for the time being. In the end, Nanfeng suddenly remembered the Zigzagoon he had just captured. Zigzagoon's ability is picking up. There is a certain chance to pick up items after the battle. The point is that even if Zigzagoon is not in the battle, he may pick up items. Nanfeng knows that the probability of Zigzagoon picking up ability is not high, but what if it is multiplied by 5? Nanfeng controls the protagonist to walk around in the grass, just to capture 4 more Zigzagoons. Form a Torchic plus 5 Zigzagoon garbage pickup team. Along the way, I can push the plot normally, and Torchic will be the main output to fight, and then the 5 Zigzagoons will pick up the garbage. I believe that it will not take long for you to achieve financial freedom. A wild Poochyena jumped out of the grass. Just kill it. Torchic made 2 rounds. Ember took Poochyena straight away. However, Poochyena still used a trick tackle in the first round to cause some damage to Torchic. Not a big problem. Continue. A wild Zigzagoon jumped out of the grass, finally met Zigzagoon. Nanfeng first had Torchic crippled it with an ember, and then threw the Pokeball. Advertisement, Zigzagoon jumps out of the Pokeball. Protagonist. It's a pity, just a little bit. No seconds to catch? No problem. Keep throwing Pokeballs. Zigzagoon jumps out of the Pokeball. Protagonist. It's a pity, just a little bit. Just 2 balls. I have 2 more. No problem. Keep throwing Pokeballs. Zigzagoon jumps out of the Pokeball. Protagonist. It's a pity, just a little bit. Nanfeng's blood pressure started to rise. Zigzagoon. I advise you not to be shameless. I only have 1 last Pokeball, and if this last Pokeball can't catch you, don't blame me for being cruel. Perhaps Nanfeng's threat worked, and the last Pokeball finally captured Zigzagoon. Hey, finally got it. Nanfeng breathed a sigh of relief, and then opened a tribute to check. Zigzagoon, normal, level, 3-2 ability, gluttonous. When the Pokemon's HP is not greater than 1/2 of the maximum HP, instead of the usual 1/4, the fruit it carries will be eaten in individual value. Stamina, 30, attack, 7, special attack, 22, defense, 25, special defense, 11, speed 11, skills, growl, tackle, carrying items, none blood pressure is directly full. My Nima, the Zigzagoon that took 4 Pokeballs to conquer, the ability is not what I want. I don't even have a V for this body value. I can't figure it out. How could you have the face to make me spin 4 Pokeballs? Release directly. Don't let me see you again. It was not good to be a teacher, and I almost closed myself, but the plan still has to continue. Nanfeng controlled the protagonist to leave the 101 route, went to the Pokemon Center in Gume Town for treatment, and threw 4 Pokeballs. Torchic even hit Zigzagoon's 3 tackles, and he lost his stamina. By the way, go to the Pokemon store to buy Pokeball. Talk to the salesperson at the entrance of the village, and the other party leads the protagonist to the door of the Pokemon store and gives Nanfeng a bottle of potion. Entering the Pokemon store, Nanfeng is going to spend all his money to buy Pokeballs. From the current situation, 4 or 5 Pokeballs are obviously not enough. I remember that Earl Dervish has 3,000 yuan. Nan Feng remembers that the protagonist Earl Dervish will have 3,000 yuan in the ocean. The price of Pokeball in the game is the same as in reality. It is 200 yuan apiece, just enough to buy 15 pieces. Pokeball, not every Zigzagoon is so difficult to catch. It should be enough. Open the store interface. The upper right corner shows the amount. Have money, 2,125.3. How come there are still zeros? Advertisement, and why is it so familiar? Nan Feng silently took out his mobile phone and checked his bank card balance. Balance of Agricultural Bank, 2,125.3 yuan. So, the money in the game and my own money are interchangeable. Nan Feng's old face stiffened. Suddenly I don't know whether to be happy or sad. The happy thing is that the money you get after defeating the trainer can be used directly, without having to go to the Pokemon store to buy things and then sell them in reality. Sadly, I just caught a useless Zigzagoon with 4 Pokeballs, and 4 Pokeballs cost 800 bucks. Blood pressure is breaking the limit. Originally, the Pokeball was given directly by Professor Birch, and even if I bought the Pokeball, the game currency was used, so I didn't feel much. But now it's a real throw of cash. Nan Feng felt that his heart was bleeding. In the end, I still bought 10 Pokeballs for 2,000 yuan, and the Pokemon store also gave a Premier Ball. The capture power of Premier Ball is the same as that of ordinary Pokeball, which can be said to be a normal Pokeball with a new skin. However, this is a special offer on the Pokemon store in the game, not in reality. With Pokeball, Nan Feng came to 101 route again. Keep rushing. It turns out that Zigzagoon was only caught with 4 Pokeballs in the rare case. In half an hour, Nan Feng fought about 20 battles and went to the Pokemon Center 3 times. Torchic raised his level to LV6 in the process and captured 7 Zigzagoons with 8 Pokeballs. 4 of these Zigzagoons are picking up ability. 5 Zigzagoons formed in formation. The scrap-picking team is officially established. Nan Feng tried to walk on the 101 route for another 10 minutes. After more than 10 battles, the 5 Zigzagoons harvested a total of 5 items. 2 Oranberry, 1 bottle of potion, 1 antidote, 1 Pokeball. Oranberry is a tree fruit and one of the ingredients for potion. It can also be used as a Pokemon ration. The store price is 100. The store price of potion is 300, and the store is only half price, only 150. The antidote store price is 100, and the store sells it for 50 bucks. The Pokeball store price is 200, and the store sells it for 100 bucks. Strictly speaking, I made 500 yuan in 10 minutes, and that was 3,000 yuan in 1 hour. If you work 10 hours a day, it is 30,000 yuan, and a month is 900,000 yuan. If you work hard, earning 1 million a month is not a dream. Nan Feng's spirit was shocked. Where is the garbage collection team? This is the gold collection team. 4. The garbage collection team was established. Then there is no need to stay on the 101 route anymore. Return to Gume Town to heal at the Pokemon Center, and restore Torchic and 5 Zigzagoons contest condition. Going to the left, Nan Feng controlled the protagonist to enter the 102 route. The main line of Pokemon games has always been to defeat the 8 gyms in the region, then challenge the Pokemon Alliance, and finally defeat the Elite 4 plus the champion at one time to become the new champion of the region. All the protagonist has to do now is to challenge the gym. However, the gym that exists in the city after crossing the 102 route is not the first gym that Nan Feng wants to challenge. It is the gym opened by the protagonist's father. He will dislike the protagonist's low strength and let the protagonist get it challenge him after 4 gyms badge. Therefore, the gym that Nan Feng will challenge for the first time is actually the second gym, in Rustboro City, the Rustboro Gym, which is hosted by the gym trainer Kinnan. It was a rock-type gym. For fire-type Pokemon Torchic, that would be an absolute nightmare. Therefore, in addition to upgrading Torchic along the way, Nan Feng has to evolve into Combuskin with fighting skills, and he is also going to see if there are any suitable grass and water Pokemons that can be cultivated. This will make you more confident against Kinnan. Are there any good grass and water Pokemons on 102 route? Nan Feng pondered. Just a few steps out of the 102 route, a child in shorts and a blue hat suddenly stopped the protagonist. Big brother, come to a game with me. Do you accept the challenge of the shorts and the tree? The option to accept/reject unexpectedly appeared. In all Pokemon games in the previous life, as long as the player was seen by the NPC, he was forced to enter the battle. So there is a stock that, when the trainer's eyes meet, the battle is inevitable. Nan Feng accepted without hesitation. Of course accepted. How could I refuse someone to send me money? Nan Feng just clicked to accept, and suddenly the handheld in his hand disappeared, and the surrounding scenery changed. He appeared in the forest at night. It was still raining and soaring in the sky, and there was a cold wind blowing from time to time. There was a constant rustling in the nearby grass, and the only light source was the street lamp at the gate of Gume Town. Not far away, a boy in shorts was throwing a pokeball out. Just please, Zigzagoon. Advertisement. The pokeball opened in midair, and a Zigzagoon landed on the ground. Ma woo. Zigzagoon of the shorts and the tree is equally energetic even at night. This? Nanfeng was dumbfounded. Why did he enter the game directly? This has never happened in previous battles. Take a look at your attire, wind speed shoes, hat, jacket. Isn't this the protagonist's attire? Could it be that when the protagonist is fighting against the trainer, I will control the protagonist to fight? Nanfeng guessed. Big brother, send out your Pokemon. Kazushu urged. Although I don't know what the situation is, all I can do now is to fight. Nanfeng reached out and touched his waist. The 6 Pokeballs were hanging quietly, and he took out the first one and threw it forward. The silver light exploded, and Torchic appeared. Cheap. Greater than over equal to less than over equal to. Torchic exclaimed excitedly, even in the rain. Big brother, then I'll attack first. Kazushu launched an attack without any hesitation. Zigzagoon, use tackle. Zigzagoon immediately ran fast on the grass, very fast, and slammed into Torchic. Nanfeng took a deep breath. This was the first time in his life that he actually fought a Pokemon. Raised his hand and commanded loudly, Torchic, see its movements to avoid, then use Ember G. Hashtag. Torchic stared at Zigzagoon with burning eyes, and at the moment when it was about to hit tackle, he easily dodged sideways, with a flame in his mouth bursting out while dodging the attack. The grainy ember is like the Gatling, dong dong dong, in the anime effect, continuously bombarding Zigzagoon's body, blasting it out immediately. There is no instant kill. Torchic's level is not much different from Zigzagoon, and rainy weather will weaken the power of fire-type moves. However, it doesn't matter. Encore Ember. Get up. Zigzagoon. Boy in shorts and tree shouted. It's a pity that the magical skill of standing up is not something that anyone can use. Advertisement. Before Zigzagoon could get up to dodge, he was overwhelmed by the second ember. Defeat Zigzagoon LV4, gain experience 80. When the defeat prompt appeared in front of him, Nanfeng returned to his apartment, sitting in front of the computer, holding the handheld in his hand. Just like before. As if just experienced a dream just now. It feels good. Nanfeng muttered to himself with a slightly raised corner of his mouth. If you just keep improving your strength through turn-based battles in the handheld, you will only improve your Pokemon strength, and it will not improve your battles in the real world. And now, when fighting against the trainer in the game, being able to control the protagonist to carry out such a real battle is definitely a very beneficial experience accumulation for him. If you want to command a champion-level Pokemon, you must also have a champion-level as a trainer. Bowing his head, a prompt is displayed on the handheld. Defeat the shorts and the tree, get a bonus of 80. Shorts boy and tree. Woohoo, I lost, but I won't give up. Next time I must beat you. Next time? You can't beat me in your next life. Torchic is a 5v Pokemon, and as the level increases, the distance between it and Zigzagoon will only increase. However, this bonus is a little less, only 80. It's not as good as the rubbish that Zigzagoon picks up everywhere in my house. Open the Pokemon panel, and the 2 Zigzagoons have carry, which is a sign that something has been picked up. Remove the carry, a Pokeball, a bottle of Repel. The function of Repel is to not encounter Pokemon within a certain number of steps after use. It sells 350 in the store, so the price of selling it in the store is 175, plus a 100 Pokeball. Earn 355 yuan for a battle, which is comfortable. Keep going, there is definitely more than a trainer on this 102 route. 5. It took Nanfeng 2 hours to cross the 102 route. There are not many trainers along the way, plus the shorts boy and the tree, a total of 4, are not strong. Only one shorts boy named Yong caused some trouble for Nanfeng. In addition to the LV4 Zigzagoon, Yong also has an LV4 Tailo. Tailo, who has the advantage of flying, made Torchic feel the pressure for the first time. Fortunately, Tailo only has LV4, and the only flying skill he masters is pecking. It came down, and without giving it a chance to fly again, chasing after Ember and ending the fight. At the same time, Torchic's level has also reached LV7, and he has learned Focus Energy that increases the probability of hitting the key point for a move. However, Nanfeng went back halfway and went back to the Pokemon Center in Gume Town. Reluctant to use Potion, can only run. It would be great if I could capture a Pokemon that knows teleport, Nanfeng pondered. In the game, using teleport outside of battle can send the protagonist directly back to the last healed Pokemon Center. Speaking of teleport, Nanfeng thinks of a Pokemon, Abra. There is a place to catch Abra right near Rustboro City. When you get to Rustboro City, you can swipe one out as a trump card against fighting gyms. It's a little disappointing that Nanfeng didn't see any Pokemon he wanted to conquer on the 102 route. In addition to the 3 Pokemon that Nanfeng encountered on the 102 route, there were 2 more. One is called Lotad, the other is Seedot. The final evolution of the former is Ludicolo, and the latter is the final evolution of Shiftry. Both Pokemons are pretty good, and Attribute is more restrained than the first Rock Gym. But it's just not bad. There is still a gap in the existence of the level of quasi-gods compared to Usangia, and the 2 final evolutionary types of Pokemon, Ludicolo and Shiftry, are not very fond of Nanfeng. Advertisement, so let's put it aside for a while. If Rustboro Gym is really hard to beat, then you can come back here and cultivate a Lotad or Seedot with a good individual value. In addition, on the 102 route, Nanfeng also picked up a bottle of potion and picked 2 Oranberry and 2 Pechaberry that can relieve the poisoning effect from the fruit trees on the roadside. Exit 102 route is Petalburg City. First go to the Pokemon Center for treatment, and then go to the Petalburg Gym to find the protagonist's father. The protagonist's father is the gym trainer of the Petalburg Gym, named Norman, and the iconic Pokemon Slaking is very impressive. In the comics, he even wakes up Ryakuza, the one who stands above Ryakuza's head to stop Kyogre and Groudon from fighting. When I came to the Petalburg Gym, the protagonist had just reminisced with Norman's father, and suddenly a green-haired boy came in from the door. His name was Dawn, and he was a neighbor who moved to Hoenn region. He came to ask the protagonist's father to help him catch a Pokemon. Nanfeng remembers it as a novice coaching, teaching players who were playing Pokemon games for the first time how to catch Pokemon. The protagonist's father, Norman, brought the protagonist and Dawn to the 102 route. He just entered the grass, and after a few steps, he directly entered the battle screen. A wild Ralts jumps out of the grass. This? Nanfeng looked at the Pokemon who looked like a small Stephanie with a green mushroom head in front of him. His eyes straightened. Ralts. Immediately, Nanfeng's eyes lit up and he became excited. I remember this is the only place in the Hoenn region where Ralts can be caught. Nanfeng had never encountered it on the 102 route before, because Ralts were very rare, and even if he knew that it was here, it would be difficult to encounter. Bring one out. Nanfeng was a little excited after watching Father Norman help Dawn subdue the Ralts in front of him. Compared with Abra, Nanfeng likes Ralts more. Advertisement, however, Nanfeng remembers that Abra has a higher chance of appearing than Ralts, so he used to play the Emerald version to catch Abra. But capturing Abra also has a lot of luck. Before evolution, this guy basically only had one move called Teleport. If a Pokeball cannot capture it with full strength, then it will disappear from Teleport. There is no instant save function. This method of grasping will waste Pokeball, so Ralts is still more cost-effective, but it will take more time. Following Father Norman back to the gym, Norman said, "Son, you are still too young. Get 4 badges first and then challenge me." Nanfeng controlled the protagonist to leave the gym silently. Standing at the gate of the gym, Nanfeng hesitated. Should he go straight to Ralts or go to the plot first? Let's brush first. Nanfeng quickly made a decision. Although the gym trainer will adjust the Pokemon it sends according to the strength of the challenger, the Pokemon sent by the gym trainer should be at least level 15 and above, and there should be 3 Pokemon. I went from Petalburg City to 104 route, then to Petalburg Woods, and finally to Rustboro Gym. Considering that there will be some trainers and some props to pick up in the process is at most half a day, but Nanfeng does not think I was able to raise Torchique's level from LV7 to LV16 in the process, so I guess I won't be able to beat Kinnan. Therefore, Nanfeng decided to level up Torchique while flashing here. Nanfeng immediately controlled the protagonist to accelerate to the 102 route, just as Father Norman captured the Ralts for Dawn just now and started walking back and forth, starting to flash. Introduction is wrong. 102 route has Ralts. The old author's new book, The Nth Pokemon. Please rest assured to collect. 6. It was already 5 o'clock in the afternoon when Nanfeng woke up from the bed, awakened by 5 Zigzagoons licking his face. Torchique chirped happily beside him. He got up from the bed, stretched out, and refreshed himself. It's better to be young. Nanfeng stretched out his body comfortably. If he wanted to change to his nearly 40-year-old body in his previous life, he would definitely have a splitting headache all night, and even if he woke up, he would lie on the bed with his butt on his back, conscious of smelling salts. The body has not slept enough. Wash your face. Get up and give yourself a breath. Ahem. First thing, make dinner for 5 zigzagoons and torchic, and use the orange berry I got yesterday. Take care of it tonight, and go to the breeder tomorrow morning to find the breeder to customize a Pokemon recipe for them. These little guys are all the heroes of yesterday, and they should be rewarded well. Nan Feng started to swipe Ralts at 3 a.m. until 7 a.m., and then went downstairs to have breakfast before resting. 4 hours of uninterrupted battles with great success. In 4 hours, Nan Feng fought at least 300 battles, and encountered a total of 13 Ralts, with a probability of only 4 or 5% at most. The probability is too low. This made Nan Feng very hesitant. Should he stop the idea of flashing? Reduce the requirement to 2V, speed plus special attack V. If it is a boy, then speed plus physical attack V. But even if the requirements were lowered, none of the 13 Ralts met Nan Feng's requirements, so none of Nan Feng remained, and they were all thrown into the computer at the Pokemon Center. Throwing it into the computer is actually teleporting to Professor Birch, who is taking care of him in Little Root Town. If a Pokemon like Ralts is sold in a breeding house, the price will be at least 1 million, and Nan Feng is reluctant to release it. In Dragon Country, it is illegal to sell Pokemon without a professional qualification certificate. So, Nan Feng is planning to get a high-level Pokemon breeder's certificate and then open a breeding center to sell rare and powerful Pokemon such as Ralts and Abra. Isn't this faster than the money from the garbage collection? No, I can't lower the requirements. Nan Feng thought about it and decided to continue. Even if he didn't brush Flash, it was necessary to brush a Ralts with a high enough individual value of Earl Dervish. Advertisement after all. I want to be cultivated as the main force. After the level is high, there is a gap before regretting it. It is too late. At least 4V or more. There is no news about the Ralts to be cultivated, but the garbage pickup team has harvested nearly 200 items in these more than 300 battles. Nan Feng kept 50 ordinary Pokeballs, 10 Great Balls, 20 bottles of potion, 10 bottles of antidote, and 10 bottles of Paralyze Heal, all of which were sold in the store. Now the balance of Nan Feng bank card is 15,547.5. 15,000 in 4 hours. This is still in the case of leaving nearly 100 items. Otherwise, the income is estimated to have to be doubled again. Sure enough, picking up trash has a lot to do. Each Pokemon comes with 3 orange berries and drinks milk from the fridge. After preparing dinner for them, Nan Feng made himself a potato brisket rice and ate it happily. After dinner, Nan Feng took the Pokemons back to the Pokeball, and then opened the Shoupa station, ready to continue to brush Ralts while listening to cross-talk. Just as he was about to turn on the handheld, suddenly there was a loud knock on the door. Boom. Brother Feng, are you at home? Brother Feng. Boom. It was a man's voice. As if Nan Feng didn't open the door again, he would take the initiative to break in. Nan Feng quickly put down the handheld, got up and opened the door. A rude man stood outside the door, and when he saw Nan Feng, he rushed over like a mourner. Brother Feng, you can't think about it. Advertisement without hesitation. Nan Feng said, F****ku. I haven't enjoyed the world of flowers. Why can't I think about it? The strong man in front of him is named Zhang Tianming. He is Nan Feng's junior. He is also an elementary school, junior high school classmate, and high school alumni. One of his few best friends. Then why don't you answer my call? I thought you couldn't think about it if you couldn't get on the trainer road, really? Nan Feng picked up the phone. There were indeed more than a dozen missed calls, all of which were from Zhang Tianming. The dialing time started from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. Oh, I played games all night last night and didn't fall asleep until 7 a.m. I just woke up and haven't had time to look at my phone yet. Nan Feng let Zhang Tianming in. After confirming that Lao Tai had no thoughts that he couldn't think of, Zhang Tianming was relieved. As he walked in, he said, Yesterday I suggested that you should reconsider. I will take you to catch a Poliwag near Yunshui wetland, even if you can't go now. On the road of becoming a professional trainer, you can keep one and keep one at will, so you won't have to start from scratch when you really want to embark on the road of a trainer. Yunshui wetland is an E-class forest wetland outside Anqing. This world has rated the danger of Pokemon dense regions. The highest is S, the lowest is E. Yunshui wetland is the lowest Pokemon density region, where there are a lot of water, grass, and flying Pokemon, including many rare Pokemon. So it is also the most frequent place for novice trainers near Anxiang. Nan Feng neither refused nor agreed, but rubbed his chin with one hand, thinking about one thing. Zhang Tianming saw that Nan Feng did not directly refuse like yesterday, and immediately hit the railroad while it was hot. If you are afraid of the trouble of raising a Poliwag, then raise a Magikarp, and you can usually feed it with some leftovers, but it may evolve into one day. What about Gyarados? Nan Feng rolled his eyes at Zhang Tianming and raised Magikarp with leftovers. After it evolves into Gyarados, can it still listen to me? Maybe one mouth will swallow me. Okay, let's go to Yunshui Wetland tomorrow to see, Nan Feng said, but he didn't want to capture Pokemon. If you want to capture Pokemon, you can drink Coke and sing songs at home and play games to brush a 6V flash. Isn't it delicious? It's just that Nan Feng wants to confirm one of his conjectures. 7. Early the next morning, Nan Feng and Zhang Tianming set off from home to Yunshui Wetland with a travel bag. Considering that he was going to Yunshui Wetland the next day, Nan Feng brushed for more than 5 hours on the first night and fell asleep at 11 o'clock. In 5 hours, I encountered 15 Ralts. The best one was 3V, physical strength plus physical attack plus speed. It can be said to be quite a good seedling. However, Nan Feng's requirements are relatively high. 3V is not enough, at least 4V, 5V. The point is, it's still that boy. Male Gardevoir? No male mother. No male mother. Super loud. No male mother. Overdrive. Important things are said 3 times. Among Galade and Gardevoir, Nan Feng still prefers the latter. The rubbish-picking team's income is as high as 23,000 yuan, and Nan Feng's bank card balance has reached 38,000 yuan. This balance number, Nan Feng remembers that he saved it after working for 2 years in his previous life. I was 18 years old in my life, and it only took 2 days to save it. This made Nan Feng feel a little embarrassed. Take the bus to the city gate of Anqing, and you will see a wall nearly 5 meters high. In the history of this world, ancient Pokemon were also called Warcraft. Pokemon attacked humans from time to time, so it was natural to build many city walls, which have not been demolished until modern times. At the gate of the city wall, a team of city guards stood guard, wearing blue police uniforms, each holding a Growlithe in his hand and a Pidgeotto on his shoulder. Looks kinda handsome. Nan Feng couldn't help but take a few more glances as he passed by. Out of the city gate, all the way to the north, more than 10 minutes later, arrived at the gathering at the entrance of Yunshui Wetland. There are people coming and going here, the traffic is busy, and it is very lively. Most of the people who come and go are trainers. When they adventure in Yunshui Wetland, they occasionally find some tree fruits and Pokemon items. Business opportunities are set up here, buying trainers' unwanted Pokemon items, and selling potion, antidote, and other potions. Zhang Tianming had already bought it before he came, and Nan Feng had some in the Pokemon Center computer on the handheld, which was completely enough. Advertisement entering the Yunshui Wetland. Zhang Tianming sent its Pokemon out. A Garlic King B*****************. D. Ahem. Wrong. A Bulbasaur? Although he was a child, Zhang Tianming's family was much richer than Nan Feng. Zhang Tianming's parents became prosperous when Zhang Tianming was in junior high school. If it weren't for Nan Feng's good grades in the high school entrance examination, it is very likely that neither of the two alumni could do it. Brother Feng, how about Oddish? As long as there is sunshine, you can feed yourself, but you can worry about it. The final evolution is Bellossom and Vileplume, both of which are good, Zhang Tianming said, pointing to an Oddish running by the side of the road. Nan Feng took out the Pokeball, but it evolves into Gloom. The taste is unbearable, and evolution into Bellossom and Vileplume will require evolution stones, which are very expensive. Forget it, don't waste Pokeball. Zhang Tianming pressed Nan Feng with disgust. Pokeball, keep walking inside. How about Ekans? Poison-type Pokemon are old Een coins, which can be used for sneak attacks, and after they evolve into Arbok, they will also have a move that can paralyze rivals' glare. The effect is quite good. Nan Feng took out the Pokeball again. Forget it, the poison-type Pokemon is not easy to raise, and Ekans consumes a lot of meat every day, and it doesn't look good at all. Bringing it around will affect you to pick up girls in the future. Zhang Tianming pressed Nan Feng again. Pokeball, keep walking inside. Just grab one, you don't have to be so troublesome, Nan Feng said, but he didn't really want to raise it. How can the first Pokemon be so sloppy? Zhang Tianming said righteously. 2 steps to Cloudwater Pond, where we can fish. I've heard people have fished Fiba there. Nan Feng opened his mouth, but still didn't say that he already had Pokemon. The E-level dangerous area can basically be said to be without danger. Either Pokemon is relatively mild, or the strength of Pokemon is relatively low, so even ordinary people without Pokemon will not be hurt here as long as they are careful. With Bulbasaur clearing the way, the two of them made it all the way. Soon we arrived at the destination, Cloudwater Pond. It is a bit wrong to say that it is a pond. To be precise, it is a small lake. There are lotus leaves on the lake. Several Poliwags sit lazily on it and doze off, and they can vaguely see the pink lotus flowers. Under the lotus leaf, Magikarp and Goldeen flashed by. Around the Cloudwater Pond, 3 or 4 trainers have already set up umbrellas here. This umbrella can also be used as an umbrella. It is rainy in Anqing, especially when summer and autumn meet, and there are occasional typhoons, so it might rain while fishing. Zhang Tianming put up the parasol familiarly. The 2 little horses are ready. Take out another fishing rod and prepare to throw the hook. The first sentence before fishing. The fishing guy will never be in the Air Force. Oi! Zhang Tianming shouted to himself. Nan Feng thought that someone would give him a look and motioned him not to make too much noise, so as not to scare the fish, but Zhang Tianming's voice just fell, and Ouya came out next to him. Do you often come here to fish? Advertisement, that's not true. I've only been here 3 times, and my brother brought me here. Zhang Tianming has skillfully thrown out the hook and used the bracket to support the fishing rod. Zhang Tianming's big brother is called Zhang Tiant, and he is 5 years older than them, so he has never played with Nan Feng and the others. He is also a trainer now. How's it going? Would you like to take a shot too? Zhang Tianming took out another fishing rod from his bag. No, I'll watch it by the side. Nan Feng was interested in fishing, but not much. He sat on the ponytail and silently took out the handheld. Keep brushing. Ralts, you can't escape the palm of my hand. In less than 5 minutes, Zhang Tianming made the first shot, and it was the fool of Magikarp. Pokemons like Magikarp are dumb and are the easiest to bite. It's Magikarp, waste my bait. Zhang Tianming scolded and was about to throw Magikarp back. Nan Feng hurriedly stopped. Since we've caught it all, let's take it first, Brother Feng. Do you really only want to keep Magikarp? Zhang Tianming said that he just said it casually yesterday. Let's see. Nan Feng has already taken out the Pokeball. Zhang Tianming hurriedly asked Bulbasaur to help him apply a trick sleep powder. Although the scene looked like he was sprinkled with cumin, Magikarp's struggle is almost negligible, a direct second grab. Picking up the Pokeball from the ground, Nan Feng didn't bother to look at it, so he shrunk it down and stuffed it in his pocket. Then take out the handheld and open your own Pokemon interface. Still a Torchic Plus 5 Zigzagoon's pickup team standard. No? Nan Feng pondered and controlled the protagonist to return to the Pokemon Center, and finally saw a Magikarp in the computer of the Pokemon Center. Sure enough, I guessed right. The Pokemon captured in reality can also be used in the game. 8. I glanced at Magikarp's individual stats. It's a mess, not only no V, but even 2 zeros. Among so many Pokemons Nan Feng has seen, it can be considered a rarity. It is worthy of being the most trash Pokemon. It has done the best in making trash. Unfortunately, Nan Feng was not interested in collecting it, so he just clicked to release it. Sitting on the pony, brushing Ralts while waiting for Zhang Tianming to fish, Nan Feng felt that it was quite comfortable. Both sides can be brushed together. Catching a Pokemon like Magikarp with a Pokeball is a bit of a waste of a Pokeball. The second shot was not so fast. After more than 10 minutes, the float remained silent. The pond bully is here. Someone suddenly exclaimed. Zhang Tianming didn't even look at it. He quickly closed the pole, and he also had to close the sunshade and ponytail, ready to evacuate. What happened? Nan Feng asked curiously. Before Zhang Tianming could answer, there was another loud frog call. Cuck! A Froakie suddenly jumped out of the big tree on the side and threw the bubble around its neck. Each group of bubble is like a missile blasting at the trainers who are fishing in the Cloudwater Pond. The 2 trainers hurriedly used their Pokemon to resist, and the one who didn't respond was smothered by bubble and fell directly to the ground. Bulbasaur, use Vine Whip. 2 green Vine Whips immediately stretched out from the big green seeds on Bulbasaur's back and crossed them to block bubble. Advertisement, but it wasn't over yet. Froakie opened his mouth and exhaled a large fist-sized bubble, shooting the audience like a machine gun. A Mareep was stunned on the spot, and the fisherman as a trainer could only hurriedly retrieve it into the Pokeball and fled with the pony. It's finally time for you. I spent 2 weeks squatting here in vain. The only remaining trainer threw the fishing rod aside with a look of excitement. Just be my Pokemon. Desert Naya. Use Pin Missile. Desert Naya. A spherical cactus covered with spikes joined its arms, and countless needles flew out of the arms and shot at Froakie. Kaloo. Froakie's face flashed a hint of mockery. At the moment of landing, the 2 hind limbs exerted force, and the body ejected to start. It was easy to avoid Pin Missile and Desert Naya, and approach Desert Naya like lightning. The light gathers in the hand. A note of pound, scent. Snapped. Boom. Desert Naya flew out directly and hit the big tree beside Trainer, losing her ability to fight on the spot. Desert Naya's trainer was dumbfounded, and his Desert Naya missed Froakie, but was killed by Froakie in one move. Seeing Froakie getting closer, trainer hurriedly threw another Pokeball. An Elekid appears. The previous Desert Naya had Froakie of Grass-type restraining water system, and now it is Elekid of Electric type. The trainer said that he was waiting for Froakie, not just talking. Elekid, use Thunder Shock. Thunder, Elekid's saffron-colored spark, jumping above Elekid's head, immediately converged into a bolt of lightning and shot at Froakie. Froakie does not dodge or evade, and when it opens, it is a bubble beam. The boom, Thunder Shock, collided with the bubble beam in mid-air, causing an immediate explosion. Smoky. But before the smoke dissipated, Froakie's swift body had already pierced through the smoke, and in the blink of an eye, he was in front of Elekid with another pound face. Advertisement snapped. Elekid was shot and flew out and hit the big tree that Naya had just hit in the desert. His petite body slid down from the tree trunk, and his fighting ability was completely useless. Another one-shot kill. How is this possible? Trainer's eyes were about to pop out, and his two Pokemons were so vulnerable in front of Froakie. Now that both Pokemon are incapacitated, so, wait for me, next time I must take you. The trainer quickly took out two Pokeballs to retrieve both Desert Naya and Elekid, then turned his head and ran away without the umbrella and fishing rod. Froakie didn't chase either, just watched trainer away mockingly. Kalu, as expected of the famous bully in Shueiyun Pond. He is so strong. Zhang Tianming couldn't help expressing emotion after witnessing Froakie's wonderful one-on-two. Feeling Nanfeng's exploratory gaze, he quickly explained. This Froakie often jumps out to attack the fishing trainer. Although it never really hurt anyone, it breaks the trainer's fishing rod every time. Over time, it has the title of a bully. Froakie is also one of the 3 families of the royal family. So why wasn't anyone caught? Nanfeng asked curiously. The number of Pokemon from the 3 families family is at least 100,000 in the breeding center. This Froakie's fighting power is so outstanding. There must be many trainers who want to subdue it. There was also a trainer who wanted to conquer before, but this guy appeared irregularly. Sometimes he appeared for several days in a row, and sometimes he disappeared for months. He is still very smart. If there are many people, then it will not appear. And the strength of this Froakie is very strong, and the Shueiyun Pond is an E-level dangerous area. Most of the trainers who come are rookie trainers, so it has not been captured so far. How about it? Do you want me to help you subdue it? Zhang Tianming asked Nanfeng. Although I don't think I have much confidence, I can give it a try. If it's a big deal, we'll turn around and run away. No need. Nanfeng had already put away the handheld, got up and walked towards Froakie. It's up to me to conquer Pokemon. A Pokeball was thrown into the air, bursting with silver light. GG. Hashtag. Torchic landed. Fighting spirit high. The 8th update on the first day, and the 4th update on the next day will remain on the shelves. 9. Huh? Brother Feng, when will you subdue Torchic? Zhang Tianming was stunned. Nanfeng didn't answer him, but stared at Froakie with Torchic. Nanfeng still doesn't know what the individual value of this Froakie is, but its fighting skills and abilities are very outstanding. Even if the individual value is not high, it will definitely not be too bad. As for whether to make it one of your main Pokemons, you'll have to wait until you get it. Feeling the fiery gaze, Froakie turned around, locked Torchic's gaze, and immediately launched an attack. As soon as he picked the bubble on his neck, he threw it as a dart, and at the same time, the 2 hind limbs used force, and the ejection started and launched a charge. Ember, Nanfeng commanded. Torchic had already accumulated a large mass of ember in his mouth, and he opened his mouth and spit up when he got the order. The torrent of ember went straight through the bubble thrown by Froakie, forcing it to dodge. But Froakie quickly came to Torchic. As if with a white glove-like palm with a dazzling coal shining on it, he blasted Torchic head-on, and it was going to defeat Torchic like Desert Naya and Elekid. Avoid, Nanfeng's voice sounded again. Torchic dodged immediately, leaning slightly, almost avoiding Froakie's attack. It seems to be safe, but it is actually within Torchic's control. 2 Pokemon staggered past. Back again. Kalu. Froakie was a little serious, and he could sense that the Pokemon in front of him was completely different from the 2 wastes just now. As soon as the experts make a move, they will know if there is any. Torchic is a true rival. Nanfeng looked at Froakie, but did not immediately direct the attack. To be precise, Torchic couldn't do it. Advertisement Torchic is slower than Froakie, and more than a little bit slower. This is the innate disparity brought about by the race itself. The reason why Torchic can avoid Froca's attack at close range is nothing more than Torchic's keen combat awareness and powerful body manipulation ability honed from thousands of battles. What the handheld brings to Nanfeng is not only the transcendence of money and Pokemon talent, and Pokemon's terrifying bonus to combat experience. Torchic's battles and handhelds and gaining experience are real. In reality, a Pokemon battle takes a lot of time, and it takes time to find the next one after a battle. Even if those trainers spend all day in the dangerous area where Pokemon gather, regardless of the Pokemon contest condition from morning to night, at most they will fight dozens of battles. While Torchic is in the handheld, there are more than 60 battles in an hour. At the end of the day, 600 battles are finished, and he will go to the Pokemon Center for treatment at any time, and there will be no hidden danger of injury. Although Rival is weak, battle after battle, continuous attack and evasion have brought it a tempered fighting consciousness. This is unmatched by most Pokemon. Torchic is the first one, but it won't be the last one. The Pokemon after Nanfeng must be all battle-hardened. No, they are terrifying fighters who have experienced many battles. This is also the reason why Torchic is obviously slower than Froakie, but he can dodge Froca's attack so fast. But blindly dodging can't win, so Nanfeng is waiting for the speed increase brought by the acceleration ability to make Torchic faster than Froakie. Commanded by Focus Energy Nanfeng, if you don't attack, take the opportunity to add a buff. Gee, Torchic whimpered softly. His whole body lifted up, even his hair stood on end. Froakie hurriedly launched an attack again. His hind limbs exerted force, and his body ejected and started, but this time, it was more cautious, not rushing to Torchic's side at the fastest speed, but after closing the distance between himself and Torchic, posted a face trick Bubble Beam. Attacking Fire-type Pokemon is the most suitable move for Water-type. Ember. Nanfeng commanded. If Torchic has any attribute that may surpass Froakie, it should be a special attack. The dazzling Bubble Beam and the scorching Ember collided in the air, and a small explosion was inevitable. At the same time, the combination of water and fire produced mist, which spread rapidly around the collision point. Advertisement suddenly, Froakie rushed out of the fog and delivered a standard pound tactics against Elekid used against Torchic. Without Nanfeng's command, Torchic's fighting consciousness has already controlled its body to dodge. But this time, Froakie is more than just a normal pound. It's a pound burst. If the right hand shoots up and is dodged by Torchic, then take the left hand. The left hand is dodged, and then take the right hand. If it wasn't for Froca's actions that were not particularly coherent, Nanfeng would have thought that he had realized double slap. Torchic dodged lightly, moving faster and more easily. In the game, the acceleration ability is a round-by-round increase in speed, but in reality, the acceleration ability is a linear continuous increase. It's almost there, Nanfeng pondered, and suddenly commanded. Tackle. Torchic, who was dodging constantly, after avoiding the pound move, he stopped and moved forward like a cannonball, slamming into Froakie in front of him fiercely. Boom. Froakie was blasted out and flew upside down for more than 3 meters. It immediately stopped the car with its strong hind limbs, gritted its teeth, and charged up again with another pound. Physical strength and perseverance are good. Nanfeng is very satisfied avoid. Then tackle. Torchic dodged Froca's attack with great ease, avoiding the attack while picking up tackle. After surpassing Froakie in speed, Torchic can already crush it with his strong fighting sense. Froca did not stop the car this time, and was directly hit by a big tree not far away. Falling to the ground, Froakie was still capable of fighting, but he could only support the ground with one hand, and his stamina had bottomed out. Not only Torchic's 2 attacks, but also its non-stop attack is also consuming its own stamina. Froakie is now at the end of the game. It's almost time to capture it. Nanfeng picked up a Pokeball and threw it at Go. Pokeball. 10. Maybe Froakie didn't have the strength to resist, or maybe it recognized Nanfeng as the master. The Pokeball, which included Froakie in it, was captured without much shaking. Picking up the Pokeball with Froakie, Nanfeng immediately opened the console to check its panel. Froakie, Water, Level 7, Ability. Tai Transform, no Tai. The effect is unknown. Individual values. Stamina, 31. Attack, 31. Special Attack, 31. Defense, 25. Special Defense, 27. Speed, 31. Skills. Bubble Beam, Pound, Growl. Carrying items. None, only level 7. Nanfeng was a little surprised. Froca's fighting power was not at all like level 7. Fortunately, it was only level 7, otherwise Torchic, who had risen to level 10 in more than 5 hours last night, might not be able to defeat it. The individual value is 4V, not the two individual values of V, one is 25, the other is 27, or the defense attribute, which is not a big problem. The point is its ability. Trap Transform. There are only two abilities that Froakie has officially recorded in Pokédex. One is the Torrent, that is basically common to the three water systems, and the other is the Dream ability, changeable. As for the Transform, if Nanfeng wasn't from the world of Pokemon anime and manga, he really wouldn't know about this ability. Because this ability is the ability that Ash's Greninja possesses. That's why Greninja was able to fight side by side with Ash. In the comics, Hua-Yi, the heroine of X/Y, also has a Greninja with a Tai Transform. Hua-Yi's image is exactly the same as Serena. TSK, not a family, do not enter the house. Such an excellent individual value also has the ability to tie down the protagonist treatment of Transform. Advertisement. This Froakie is a bit of a waste of its ability not to be the protagonist. It seems that it's good to go to the dangerous area occasionally, Nanfeng said to himself. Zhang Tianming had already run over from behind, and when he went up, he gave Nanfeng a heavy slap on the shoulder. Damn it, brother Feng. What's the situation? When did you get a Torchic? And it's that good. Zhang Tianming looked at Nanfeng up and down, as if he had known him again. A scholar specializing in Pokemon research asked me to take care of it the day before yesterday. Nanfeng replied. He didn't lie. Torchic was given to him by the scholar Professor Birch. Zhang Tianming didn't suspect him, let alone go into it, excitedly patted Nanfeng's shoulder, happy that his buddy had such an opportunity, but still said indignantly, No, you had Torchic the day before yesterday, and it was yesterday. You've made me worry for so long. You want to invite me to dinner? Go. Nanfeng waved his hand and agreed boldly. We have 38,000 in our pocket now. Why can't we afford it? Nanfeng and Zhang Tianming returned to Wanqing and found a hot pot restaurant near their home. The time was just 12 o'clock, and we just set off for Yunshui Wetland at 7 o'clock in the morning. It took only 5 hours to catch Froakie again and again. This is much easier than brushing Ralts. After ordering the food, Nanfeng and Zhang Tianming chatted while eating. Brother Feng, you have Earl Dervish Pokemon now. How are you going to develop in the future? Zhang Tianming asked. In this day and age, students actually have 4 options after finishing high school. The first path is regular university, which is the choice for those who do not embark on a career path related to Pokemon. The prospects are still broad. Pokemon can take people flying, Pokemon can take people across the sea, but planes and ships are also made. The existence of machines naturally has its rationality and can also serve more humans. After graduating from an ordinary university, you can also find a good job. The second path is Pokemon University. Pokemon University includes Pokemon Breeder, Pokemon Battles, and all other career paths related to Pokemon. It is the choice of most trainers. Advertisement. The third road is the Gymnasium. There are 34 provincial-level administrative regions in Longhua. Each provincial-level administrative region has a gymnasium, and the owner of each gymnasium will run a school in his own gymnasium. However, each gym owner accepts about 100 students each year. 34 gyms are equal to 3,400 students. This is only 10 cents in 9 years in front of millions of students who graduate every year. So only a few elites can enter the gym to study. The fourth way is the army. I should apply for a Pokemon University, Nanfeng said thoughtfully. He hadn't seriously thought about what path he should take in the future. After all, he was ready to go to an ordinary university before he discovered the Handheld. Now that you have a Handheld, it is natural to embark on the road of trainer. Joining a gym is basically impossible. As for the army, Nanfeng doesn't think he can still play games with Solation when he is in the army. Right now, it seems that Pokemon University is more suitable for me. The initial idea is to apply for a relatively relaxed and professional breeder college. If you don't open a Pokemon ranch, it feels like a waste of Handheld functions, and there are still a bunch of Ralts and Curry. After going home for a while, I will see what professional breeding is going to the school. What about you? Nanfeng asked rhetorically. I'm going to participate in the selection of Chiba Gym in a few days. My dad is looking for a relationship. Zhang Tianming shrugged, but he didn't mean to show off. Chiba Gym. This is a gym in the western province of Taihang. The owner is a veteran gym trainer who is good at using grass-type Pokemon. Zhang Tianming's first Pokemon was a grass-type Bulbasaur, and now he is going to a grass-type gym again. It seems that he is going to take the road of a full-time grass-type Pokemon trainer. That's right, it's good to have a way. Nanfeng said enviously. If he could, who wouldn't want to take the path arranged by the elders for him? How is it? Do you want to go with me? It's a selection anyway, so you may not be able to enter. Zhang Tianming sent an invitation. No, Pokemon University is still suitable for me. Nanfeng shook his head. Even the selection opportunity is not so easy to get. It is a grass-type gym. I don't even have a grass-type Pokemon. It's not suitable at all, so don't go there. Join in the fun. 11. After eating hot pot with Zhang Tianming, they both went home. Before going home, Nanfeng stopped by the breeding house. We agreed to have a dedicated Pokemon ration for Torchic and Zigzagoon, and now at a Froke. The nearest breeding house is called Qingqing Grassland. Chung this name, Nanfeng would like to see their Mareep and Houndour. Guest, what would you like to order? Nanfeng was greeted by a sweet-looking girl who was wearing a white turban and a bib with the logo of the breeding house. I want to buy some Pokemon rations. What price do you have here? The girl introduced with a smile. Our Pokemon rations are divided into 3 levels: low, medium, and high. Low-end Pokemon rations are made based on your Pokemon's attribute. Attribute general-purpose Pokemon rations are 200 yuan per serving. Mid-range Pokemon rations. We will make race-specific Pokemon rations according to your Pokemon species. The price of rations is 1,000 yuan. For high-end Pokemon rations, we will have professional intermediate breeders conduct individual tests for your Pokemon and then make targeted Pokemon rations. The price is variable, basically about 5,000 to 30,000 each. How long does one serving last? The standard amount of one serving is 1 week. Within a week, we will deliver one to your home every morning, noon, and evening to ensure the freshness of the rations. Rao is that Nanfeng was mentally prepared before he came, but when he heard the price, he couldn't help but scolded in his heart. Is this TMD a bit outrageous? A standard amount of Pokemon rations, 4 servings a month, and a mid-range Pokemon ration would cost 4,000 yuan a month. The monthly salary of ordinary workers is exactly this amount. No wonder they can't afford Pokemon at all. If it's a premium Pokemon ration, get another 6 Pokemon. The minimum consumption for a month is 120,000, and the maximum consumption is 720,000. You can only eat high-end Pokemon rations if you have mines at home. Advertisement then? Make a high-end Pokemon ration for both of my Pokemon. Coincidentally, Nanfeng's house does have a mine, and it's a new one. Zigzagoon, the god of drops forever. However, this treatment is limited to his main Pokemon. As for Zigzagoon, I bought some low-end rations when I left. Zigzagoon? Please wait here for a moment. I'll call the breeder in the store right away. The girl in charge of the reception immediately dazzled when she heard that she wanted to buy high-end Pokemon rations and asked Nanfeng if she wanted tea, drinks, or coffee. Ta-ta-ta, walked away in high heels. 2 minutes later, a girl of the same age as Nanfeng came out of breeder's house and brought Nanfeng a cup of green tea. Hello, sir. My name is Li Chanqian. I'm a junior Pokemon breeder in this shop. This time I'm in charge of formulating Pokemon rations for your Pokemon. Now can you release the Pokemon for me to check? Nanfeng quickly released Torchic and Froakie. Jeep. Oh, carrot. Oh, Torchic jumped happily, always looking full of energy. Kalu. In contrast, Froakie, who had just been subdued, seemed much calmer. He just watched Torchic's movements quietly, his hands were crossed, and his face was grim. Both of your Pokemons are very good from breeder. Li Chanqian saw Torchic and Froakie. Her eyes lit up, and she started immediately. Torchic's hair is soft, and it is a very healthy color. The muscles are firm, and it looks full of energy and vitality. It should have a very reasonable and efficient exercise every day. You must have spent a lot of energy to cultivate it, sir. If you want to customize Pokemon rations, it depends on your next training direction for it, whether you want to improve speed, strength, or the power of moves first. This Froakie should be a Pokemon that has just been captured. Although it has a strong physique, it has a lot of dark wounds on its body. It should be left when it lived in the wild. Its hind limbs are extremely strong, and the speed is very fast. If you customize rations for it, I suggest that you can start from the nourishing aspect, supplement its nutrition first, and then consider its cultivation direction to fine-tune the rations. Li Chanqian's analysis is straightforward, and she also gives follow-up breeder opinions. It can be heard that she is a breeder with real talents and practical learning. However, Nanfeng didn't spend any energy on Torchic. It was Miss Joey from the Pokemon Center who took good care of him. Advertisement, Froakie will be customized according to what you said. If Torchic, let's start with strength first, Nanfeng said thoughtfully. Nanfeng's plans for Torchic and Froakie are double-edged swords, and the species strength and individual value of the 2 Pokemons also support this cultivation method, so Nanfeng is not going to waste this advantage. Start with strength first, then change later. Just don't know the price. In terms of price, Torchik's ration is 22,000 servings, because it will use relatively rare tree fruits. Froca's Pokemon rations are enough for 10,000 servings. Pure and nourishing tree fruits and ingredients are not expensive now. If the gentleman wants to customize, I can make the decision to erase the fraction. A total of 30,000, Li Qianqian offered to offer a discount. A portion of 30,000 is 120,000 a month. It's still within the range that you can afford. Okay, then make Pokemon rations according to these two plans, first 2 of each, and then give me 10 low-end normal-type Pokemon rations. Okay, please wait for half an hour. I'll prepare today's Pokemon mouth first. After speaking, Li Qianqian got up and left. The clerk who was in charge of receiving Nanfeng quickly came over and swiped the card for Nanfeng, and also left the address of Nanfeng's home to facilitate the daily delivery in the future. Half an hour later, Nanfeng got 2 big meals with tree fruit as the main food, supplemented by meat and medicinal herbs. Nanfeng took a closer look and found that these tree fruits, meat, and medicinal herbs are not precious things. 20,000 servings of Torchic Pokemon rations are calculated based on the amount of a week, and the ingredients are only 10,000 yuan at most. This is still the market price. If their breeding hut takes the purchase price, it will be cheaper, and the other 10,000 should be for the breeder. Consultation fee and matching fee. Nanfeng suddenly became more determined to become a breeder. Junior breeders are already at this price. Intermediate, advanced, and even master breeders are still good. 12. Special defense plus speed 2V. The 1V of special attack, no V. Nanfeng looked at the warehouse with hundreds of Ralts and sighed deeply. After catching Froakie, he ran Ralts for 6 days in a row, catching nearly 30 Ralts a day. Flash Ralts isn't out yet. On the contrary, Torchic was upgraded to level 16 on the 3rd day and evolved into Combusken. Combusken, Fire, Fighting, Level 16 ability. Acceleration. Pokemon holding this ability increases the speed by 1 level at the end of each turn. Individual values. Stamina, 28. Attack, 31. Special attack, 31. Defense, 31. Special defense, 31. Speed, 31. Skills. Ember, Growl, Tackle, Double Kick, Flame Charge, Detect, Sand Attack, Quick Attack, Carrying Items. None. What surprises Nanfeng is that Combusken does not have only 4 skills like Pokemon in the game. As the level increases, there are a lot of skills that should be understood, and there is no need to delete skills. It's quite comfortable. Now, Combusken with Fighting type is qualified to challenge Rustboro Gym. Originally, Nanfeng also prepared this time to challenge Rustboro Gym, but the high V Ralts haven't come out yet, and he is Froakie. It's better to train Froakie to level 16 first, evolve into Frogadier, and then challenge Rustboro Gym. The Frogadier of the water system can be used as a second insurance. So, Nanfeng continued to level up bitterly. Nanfeng's daily training time is fixed at 10 hours. Except for rest, he also has 1 hour of exercise time every day, and he spends the rest of his time reading books. Read books on Pokemon breeding. The school to apply for is already optimistic, Qintang University. This is the leading Pokemon college in Jiangnan Province, and it is famous nationwide for its breeding program. In addition, it is one of the most popular Pokemon universities for water Pokemon trainers because of its proximity to the sea. Advertisement Nanfeng is for the breeding major, and the specific exam subjects have been read on the internet. It is divided into 2 parts, written test and practical test. Although he is a breeding major, he still has to take the battle test. After all, breeding is not just as simple as feeding Pokemon. Many breeders go deep into dangerous areas to find rare fruit, or observe Pokemon habits for a long time in dangerous areas, etc. There are also many students majoring in breeding in the National College League. However, compared to the battle major, the breeding major is more inclined to theoretical knowledge, so the basic knowledge score is different from the battle major, which accounts for 20%, and the Pokemon battle score accounts for 80%. Qintang University's exam is divided into 3 parts: Pokemon breeding knowledge, basic knowledge, and Pokemon combat, with a total score of 450 and each subject of 150 points. The basic knowledge is the score of the college entrance examination. Nanfeng's college entrance examination score is not low, with 640 points. A proper academic master, converted into Qintang University's 150-point system, is 128 points. In the actual combat part, I have Combusken and Frogadier, which is not a big problem. The focus is on Pokemon breeding knowledge, so Nanfeng has been spending a lot of time reading books recently. I have already bought a train ticket, and I will go to Qintang University to take the exam 3 days later. These 3 days are also Nanfeng's last hard work time. If he can't pass the test, He can only find another lower-level school. Beep. There was a knocking sound from the window. As soon as the window was opened, a small head with red head and white hair came in. It was a delibird. Oh, it also had a Pokobi on its head. Just babble, greater than over equal to less than over equal to. It's a takeaway boy today? Hello. Nanfeng waved at Pokobi and handed over an orange berry, so he was able to lick it. Who wouldn't love a cute Pokemon like Pokobi? Daily, Delibird took out a flashing colored ball of light from his white package and handed it over. Hey, I got it wrong. I ordered beef brisket rice. Nanfeng stared at it angrily. This is Delibird's exclusive skill present. A-bomb. Daily. Delibird shoved it back in panic. He was a deliverman on his first day, and he almost got used to it. After groping in the white cloth bag that looks small but can hold a lot of things, it took a long time to take out a box of beef brisket rice and hand it to Nanfeng. After confirming that what was given was correct, Delibird took a breath, waved his hand, closed the window, and continued to deliver the next one. Chucky, asterisk, goodbye. Nanfeng waved at Pokobi. If I can't touch a wild Pokobi in the future, I must raise one, put away the lunchbox. Nanfeng is going to turn off the handheld, open Shoppa Station, watch the video, and enjoy the food. As soon as he lowered his head, the handheld had entered the battle screen, and a little Stephanie with a black mushroom head suddenly appeared on the opposite side. Advertisement, Nanfeng widened his eyes, making sure that he saw not a C-dot, but a Ralts. But this Ralts isn't green hair, it's black hair. Flash. Nanfeng sucked in a breath of air, dedicating his modest contribution to global warming. No, calm down. Now is not the time to be happy. It's not too late to be happy when you catch it. Nanfeng took a deep breath, took back his modest power, and started to operate the handheld with a stable mood. In fact, his hands were shaking, and he finally met the flash Ralts he was thinking about. How could he not shake? Don't attack. Don't change Pokemon. Nanfeng throws Pokeball directly. What a joke. How can I hurt Ralts? He's got hundreds of Pokeballs in his pocket now, and the Zigzagoons are selling everything they've picked up today. Low-level Ralts don't teleport. You can catch them until the end of the day. The first Pokeball is released. Flash Ralts was included in the Pokeball, and after a brief shake, there was a bang. Congratulations, you caught Ralts. This is love. Super loud. Can't relax. Nanfeng manipulated the protagonist to immediately run back to the Petalburg City Pokemon Center and took out Flash Ralts from the computer. Before looking at the panel, he directly recorded and archived. Do you want to record and exit? Record recording. Recording completed, exiting the game. As soon as the console went dark, piles of things rumbled to the ground, almost submerging Nanfeng's room. This is the result of the Zigzagoons fighting for nearly 10 hours, and they forgot to sell it just now. Nanfeng quickly pulled out the Pokeball with Ralts from the pile of things and released it directly. The Pokeball opened, the silver light exploded, and the black mushroom head Ralts floated to the ground. Lalu 0013. Hello, Nanfeng released Combuskin and Froakie to greet Ralts again. Gigi. Carrot. Combuskin put on a pose, welcoming the arrival of his little sister. Caloran and Froakie looked at Ralts silently, and soon turned his attention to Combuskin. Lalu. Ralts timidly hid behind Nanfeng. You should get along well in the future. The moment he saw Ralts, Nanfeng finally put his heart in his stomach and patted Ralts' head lightly. After confirming that the two little big brothers had no malicious intentions towards him, Ralts dared to probe his brains to observe the two little big brothers and the surrounding environment. Looking back, Nanfeng turned on the handheld again. He was so anxious just now that he hadn't checked the individual stats of Ralts. Open Ralts attribute. Ralts, Psychic, Fairy, Flash, Level, 5e ability. Synchronization, when other Pokemon cause burn, poison, toxic, and paralysis to itself, they will cause the same status condition to that Pokemon. Individual values, Stamina, 31, Attack, 31, Special Attack, 31, Defense, 31, Special Defense, 31, Speed, 31, Skills. Disarming Voice, Growl, Double Team, Confusion, Carrying Items, none 6v. Nanfeng's eyes almost popped out. Even if the Flash is still 6v, it's never been such a great start. Cheers for me. Cheers for me. Although shiny Pokemon, as a different kind of ordinary Pokemon, is destined to be stronger than ordinary Pokemon, is 6v a bit too exaggerated. To put it bluntly, this is the limit of Ralts. There can be no more Ralts that can exceed this ceiling. How many years of Yangsho have I used? Nanfeng swallowed, and he began to worry about whether he would die young in the future. To be honest, brushing flash Ralts, Nanfeng is just talking about it. Ordinary Pokemon, such as Zigzagoon, Poochyena, etc. Nanfeng encounters not 4,000 or 3,000, but they have never appeared a flash. Wish to meet a Ralts flash that can only be met 30 times a day at most. It's like buying a lottery ticket. Advertisement, but in the end I came across it. Ralts knew I wanted it, and it came. This is love. Love that goes both ways. Nanfeng carefully examines the Ralts panel. 6V Ralts in the case that the individual values of special attack and physical attack are full. Nanfeng decided to decide the training direction of this Ralts according to its gender. Females are bred as Gardevoir and males as Galade. The gender of the Pokemon can be seen directly in the game. This Ralts happens to be female. Nanfeng breathed a sigh of relief again. It was indeed the little sister, not the little brother. If it is really a little brother, although it is true that it can be trained as Galade, but it is awkward when I was a child. Especially after the evolution of Ralts, Kirlia, who looks like a girl in a short skirt. After admiring the Ralts panel for a while, Nanfeng reluctantly closed the panel. It's a pity that no one in this world can play this game. Otherwise, I can still take a picture and send it to the circle of friends to make everyone envious. But it's okay to shoot flash Ralts directly in reality. I have been at home for the past few days, and there is no way to explain where it was caught. Controlling the protagonist to leave the 102 route, it is finally possible to continue the main line. But before that, you have to go to the Pokemon store and sell the Pokemon items all over the ground. In 6 days, the target of 30,000 a day was easily completed, and there was even an extra 20,000. Nanfeng's current account has a full 200,000. I will go to Qingqing Grassland again tomorrow morning and ask Li Chanqian to help me come up with the Ralts Pokemon ration plan. After eating the beef brisket rice, Nanfeng controlled the protagonist to leave Petalburg City and head to the 104 route. When leaving Petalburg City, I met a fat man with sunglasses and a holiday flower shirt. He is looking for a good trainer, but he feels that Nanfeng is too young, it should not be, and left in a hurry. This is a story mission. Nanfeng remembers him as the boss of Battle Frontier. There is a beach on 104 route, and there is a wooden house on the edge of the beach, which is the residence of the elderly Hatch. In addition, there are many fishermen fishing on the beach. However, Nanfeng remembers that in this sea area, the only Pokemon that can be caught is Magikarp. So, are they trying to fish a 6V Magikarp? Advertisement. Nanfeng controls the protagonist and fights them one by one. That is to say, it is a bit troublesome to fight with the fisherman by himself. Nanfeng does not want to complain about the battle in the middle. Weak, too weak. No matter how many Pokemons there are, they are all Magikarps. If you really catch Magikarps, use Magikarps. What skills can a level 7 Magikarp use? Water Splash? Or Tackle? The little boys passing by on the beach are slightly better than them. His Pokemon are Taillow and Seedot, but the level is too low, only 4 and 6. I don't have Combuskin, but Froakie plus 5 Zigzagoons. After 3 days of fighting, Froakie's level has reached LV 15. Nanfeng is going to use these trainers on the road to make it LV 16 and evolve into Frogadier. Level 15 versus level 4 and level 6. The abuse of vegetables can no longer describe these battles. To be precise, it is a slaughter. All Pokemon are one move in front of Frogadier in LV 15. However, one of the trainers on Route 104 gave Nanfeng some surprises. Miss Qianjin Lihua, her strength is normal, there is only one LV Zigzagoon, but after defeating her, the bonus is extraordinarily rich. $1,400. Compared with the previous stingy trainers who only gave 68 yuan or 100 yuan after winning, they are much more generous. She also deserves the title of Miss Qianjin. Besides, 104 route didn't give Nanfeng any more surprises. The items that can be picked up on the ground are slightly more eye-catching items called heart scales. And in the future, you can go to the skill teaching maniac to let Pokemon recall skills. There are 3 more Pokemon, Marill, Wingull, and Taillow in the grass on 104 route. Nanfeng also has no need to be subdued. So go straight across the 104 route and into Petalburg Woods. It's too difficult, many emoji symbols can't be used. I changed it for a long time. There is no way to speed up the update. There are 4 changes a day. If you write more, it will be saved as a manuscript, and it will be used when it is released. 14. Petalburg Woods, a very ordinary forest that connects Petalburg City and Rustboro City. The lush and intricate terrain has left many trainers lost in it. Vitalan Forest has the power of Vibrant, while Petalburg Woods have the power of Petalburg. Nanfeng muttered as he walked, not intending to stay here any longer. crossing the line along the way. The strength of the trainers on the road is also very low. The highest level is only 7, and most of the trainers bring Pokemons like Wurmple, which are not very threatening. Nanfeng naturally slaughtered all the way. While collecting lost items from the trainers, try to encounter the Pokemon in the scene to see if there are any rare Pokemon here. All the way down, touch the Pokemon you should meet. Poochyena, Zigzagoon, Wurmple. Even in Petalburg Woods can't escape these 3 Pokemon. It is also a local specialty. Silcoon, Cascoon, Taillow, Shroomish, Paras. A wild Slacketh jumps out of the grass. Yeah. Nanfeng rubbed his chin while looking at Slacketh lying on the screen with a lazy face. Slacketh, this should be the rarer Pokemon in Petalburg Woods. Its final evolution is Slaking, who is also the protagonist's father, the Norman trump card Pokemon, Petalburg Gym. Remember that in the game, this guy has species strength comparable to a first-level god, but no one cares because of the deadly lazy ability. Nanfeng tried to subdue the Slacketh in front of him. Slacketh, normal, level 7, air ability, laziness, only one move can be activated every 2 rounds. Individual values, stamina, 21, attack, 31, special attack, 11, defense, 24, special defense, 17, speed, 16, skills, grab, yawn, encore, carrying items, none in the game. The lazy ability Pokemon can only attack every 2 turns. In reality, Slacketh and Slaking often stay still from their debut to being defeated by rival. If it weren't for this ability, it's hard not to wonder if this guy has joined the enemy. There are also often funny videos of trainer posting similar content on the internet. But there are exceptions, and Slaking has also shined in doubles matches. Advertisement Slaking is paired with Weezing, using Weezing's ability, Chemical Change Gas, to temporarily eliminate Slaking's laziness. Then Slaking is still a rather terrifying existence. It's a pity that Nanfeng has no intention of cultivating a Slaking for the doubles game, and put this time on his other Pokemons. Are they not better than a Slaking? This Slacketh is not bad, full of attack individual value. Once it grows up, its destructive power is quite amazing. Put Slacketh on the computer, and let Professor Birch help him raise it. It's a rare Pokemon anyway, and it's worth a lot of money. Continue on until you reach the middle of Petalburg Woods. The protagonist controlled by Nanfeng suddenly stopped. Not far ahead, an uncle in a suit and leather shoes was looking around. Uncle, I remember it should be nearby. When the uncle saw Nanfeng, he hurried over. Uncle, did you see Shroomish in Petalburg Woods? I like this kind of Pokemon very much. I want to catch one here, but I can't see it. Without waiting for Nanfeng to answer, a young man in a sailor's costume with a blue scarf head tied suddenly came running from a distance. Subordinate of the Marine Fleet. You originally planned to attack you, but you look like you are going to live in Petalburg Woods. Hurry up and hand over what's in your hand. The subordinates of the water fleet viciously stepped forward to grab the briefcase in the hand of the uncle. But the uncle immediately jumped behind Nanfeng. Uncle, young man, give it to you. Although he knew this was a plot, Nanfeng couldn't help but want to complain. Uncle, you are too skilled in this action. As the battle unfolds, Nanfeng has become the protagonist. He is in a dense forest that does not see the light of the sun. The only thing that illuminates the entire battlefield is the broken light that faintly falls through the leafage. Boy, dare to ruin the good things of our water fleet. You are dead. The water fleet men threw the pokeball at Nanfeng aggressively. A Poochyena LV-12 debuted. Nanfeng raised his eyebrows and finally met a rival with a relatively high level. As soon as he raised his hand, Nanfeng released Froakie. In the irregular game, no one called for the start of the battle, and the crew of the water fleet unceremoniously grabbed the first attack. Poochyena, use Bite. The dingo-sized Poochyena rushed towards Froakie immediately. The energy accumulated in his mouth, and the faint darkness overflowed. When he was only 3 meters away from Froakie, he suddenly splashed, opened his bloody mouth, and bit him with surging evil energy. Avoid, then pound advertisement facing Poochyena's attack. Froakie's face was cold. His eyes were full of disdain, and he even felt a little sick. Its teeth are so black that it doesn't look like they've been brushed properly. Its mouth is so stinky, it must not rinse after eating. The hind limbs made a slight jump to the side, and Poochyena's pounce immediately missed. Without waiting for it to turn back and bite again, a small fist flashing white light has appeared on top of its head. Pound! Snapped. Poochyena's head was directly pressed into the dirt, and she could only whimper and whimper. It didn't lose the ability to fight on the spot, so its body was good. But Froakie doesn't have the habit of releasing water. If 1 pound is not enough, then another one.
Snapped.
Boom, the front half of Puchina sank into the dirt. Before Nanfeng could see the final result, he had returned to his small apartment. Shows that the battle is over. A prompt is popping up on the screen. Defeat Puchina LV12, gain experience 240. Defeat Team Aqua and get bonus 181 subordinate of the water fleet. I remember you. Wait for the revenge of our water fleet. The young man ran away in a hurry. Uncle, thank you, young man. The uncle gave the protagonist a great ball and hurriedly ran away. Get a great ball in a fight, that's okay. Nanfeng bagged the great ball and continued his journey towards Rustboro City. The signing is successful, come on. 15. When you leave Petalburg Woods, there is a flower shop in front of you. Talk to the person at the door to get a Bullet Seed, skill CD. Bullet Seed is a move that has a power of 25, but can attack 2 to 5 times randomly. For a European emperor like him, this is a grass-type magic skill with a power of 125, even more than 120 power of Sunshine Flames. What? Are you saying I'm not the emperor? Flash Ralts go up and applaud them. I can blow this shit out of Flash Ralts for the rest of my life. Unfortunately, Nanfeng currently has no grass-type Pokemon, so this thing can only be left idle in the backpack. Nanfeng regretted not choosing Trico at the beginning, otherwise he would play Rock Gym, and with this trick Bullet Seed, it would not be quack killing. There are also 3 fruit trees on the side. Get 2 cherry fruit, 2 orangeberry, and 3 pechaberry. The Whalemare Pail can be found in the flower shop. With the Whalemare Pail, you can plant seeds and water yourself in the soil where the fruit is harvested. However, Nanfeng does not have the habit of burying seeds. Because it was too troublesome, I buried a cherry fruit and waited a day or two before I could get 2 to 5 fruit. A fruit is also sold for 1 or 200 yuan. This income is too low, and I have to run over and harvest maps one by one. With this time, Nanfeng might as well bring the Pokemons to pick up trash in the grass. Defeat the trainers on the road to Rustboro City one by one, and meet a rich young master, rewarding 1,400 yuan. After defeating the rich young master Xiaogong, Froakie finally came to LV16, shrouded in white light. It evolved from Froakie to Frogadier. Frogadier, water, level, 16 ability. Tai transform, no Tai. The effect is unknown. Individual values. Stamina, 31. Attack, 31. Special attack, 31. Defense, 25. Special defense, 27. Speed, 31. Skills. Bubble Beam, Pound, Growl, Quick Attack, Lick, Water Pulse. Carrying items, none. Frogadier, Oligarch Frog advertisement. Nanfeng condemned whoever named it. Go north and cross the bridge. At the gate of Rustboro City, I got a chesto berry from an old grandmother that can release the sleep contest condition. There are also 3 fruit trees by the grandma's side, and all the fruits on them are also in Nanfeng's bag. The old grandmother gave herself a chesto berry, and it should be no less than 2 cherry fruit, 2 apple wild fruit, and 8 orangeberry. Nanfeng, thank you, Grandma. Granny, you better do something. Entering Rustboro City, Nanfeng searched the city for the first time, and there are many characters in this dialogue. Talk to the teacher in a school and get the Quick Claw. Quick Claw. After carrying it, there is a 20% chance to activate it at the beginning of each round. After activation, the moves performed by the carrier this round will be used first if they have the same priority. In reality, Pokemon equipped with Quick Claw will speed up occasionally for short periods of time. The actual effect is similar to the game. Nanfeng gave it to Ralts. Combuskin and Froakie don't need Quick Claw because they're not as fast as Pokemon. And Uncle Cut in a residential building in Rustboro City got cut in his hand in each version of the Pokemon game. There are always several skills that can be used not only in battle, but also on the protagonist's path. For example, the surf technique that can move forward on the sea, the flying technique that can fly directly to the city that has been visited, or the waterfall technique that can flow upstream from the waterfall. Because of their unique functionality, they are often indispensable skills for trainers. Cut is one of them. After learning Cut, Nanfeng can chop down some special trees during the game. Just on the way here, there was a small tree in front of a prop. After learning Cut, Nanfeng was going to go and chop it. Nanfeng let Froakie learn Cut on the spot. The scene when Ash's Greninja uses Cut, Nanfeng is vivid and handsome. However, Uncle Cut told the protagonist that after the secret of Cut is learned, the Gym Badge, Stone Badge in Rustboro City can be activated in the game. Otherwise, even if you learn, you can only use Cut in battle at most. It's not a big problem. Nanfeng will now challenge Rustboro Gym. Advertisement: make a trip to the nearest Pokemon Center to fill up the Pokemon's contest condition before heading to the Rustboro City Gym. Walking into Rustboro Gym, Three trainers who studied in Rust Boro Gym had a showdown with Nanfeng. Their strength is far more than the ordinary trainer on the road just now, and the Pokemon level has reached the highest level of 15. This made Nanfeng feel a little bad, but after adjusting the contest condition, he challenged Trainer Kinnan at Rust Boro Gym. With a flash of light and shadow in front of him, Nanfeng was already standing at the battle seat. This is a standard rock versus battlefield. The venue is full of rock. A big sister who looks like a student is wearing a blue short skirt and red stockings. We don't know why this is the situation. You can experience it for yourself. On the side, a referee is already in place. Hello, I'm Roxanne, the gym master of Rust Boro Gym. I became a gym owner because I wanted to apply the knowledge I learned in the Pokemon Trainer School to actual combat. Since you challenged me, let me see your strength, Kinnan said, with a smile on his delicate facial features all the time. A smile brought by absolute confidence in his own strength. The referee begins to announce the rules of the fight. Trainer Nanfeng is now challenging Kinnan, the owner of Rust Boro Gym. The number of Pokemon available to both sides is 3, and there is no chance to exchange Pokemon. When one of the trainers has no Pokemon available, the battle ends. The gym trainer sends the Pokemon first. Kinnan raised his hand, and it was a Pokeball, and a Geodude landed on the rock field as the silver light exploded. Nanfeng can only judge its strength by Geodude's level. This is Geodude's level, LV 17. Wait, was the first Pokemon level 17 in the first gym trainer in the game? Nanfeng was stunned. If I didn't have the flash leveling the other day, and I've been here all the way, I guess I'd have to be beaten by Kinnan's Geodude at level 10. A Geodude can push itself. Asked the challenger to send his own Pokemon, the referee took the initiative to remind Nanfeng when he saw that Nanfeng did not move for a long time. Nanfeng took a deep breath and sent out the newly evolved Frogadier. 16. Frogadier vs. Geodude. The referee announced that the two sides were in place, waved the flag in his hand and announced, "The battle begins." As the master of the gym, Kinnan gave up the first attack very gracefully and took the initiative to let Nanfeng attack first. Nanfeng is not polite. Frogadier. Quick attack. As soon as the voice fell, Frogadier's figure had disappeared, and he rushed to Geodude's side like lightning, raising his hand to pick up the cut he just learned. A kunai radiating a dazzling light appeared in his hand, slashing diagonally. From the bottom right to the top left, it seems to be cutting the Geodude in half. "Pardon," Kinnan hurriedly commanded, and Frogadier's speed surprised her a bit. "Cool." Geodude immediately crossed his hands in front of him. A silver light flashed across his body, and his defense increased. Ding! A crisp collision sound came. The sharp kunai slash hit Geodude, as if it had slashed on solid iron, and splattered ember. But it didn't seem to have any effect. Geodude's defense is already very high, and with Harden's improved defense, it's not surprising that he can't break the defense. Therefore, Nanfeng's real offensive move is not cut. Bubble Beam. As soon as Frogadier looked up, without any warning, a beam of water made of bubble hit Geodude directly, rushing it out on the spot and landing directly at Kinnan's feet. Defeat Geodude LV 17. Gain experience 341 hit kills. Kinnan opened his mouth but didn't know what to say. Nanfeng's Frogadier is very fast, both in terms of movement speed and the speed of using moves. With such a fast bubble beam, Geodude couldn't dodge even at long distances. But Frogadier can use Bubble Beam to defeat Geodude at the beginning of the battle, but he has to use Quick Attack and Cut to test it first. So this man in front of him is obviously strong, but he is too cautious. It really made Kinnan guess right. Nanfeng did let Frogadier use Quick Attack to get close because he was cautious. But it's not a temptation, it just feels that it's getting closer. Even if Geodude can react, it can't avoid it. In the Pokemon battle, Frogadier is still safe to kill at close range with Attribute Restraint. Advertisement, stable fighting style. Kinnan squeezed out such a comment after a while, and then released his second Pokeball. The Pokeball opens, and a behemoth falls from the sky. Boom! The ground was shaken by the arrival of this Pokemon. It's an Onix. Nanfeng can see the level from its head, LV 20. The range that can also be challenged is only a 4-level difference. Onix, use Rock Slide. Kinnan was no longer humble, and took the initiative to attack. Wow! Onix let out a low growl immediately. Immediately, a circular black hole appeared in the soaring in the sky on the battlefield, and fist-sized rocks flew down from it, and for a while, rocks rained down. Bubble Beam. Nanfeng also immediately placed an attack order. Under the AoE skill Rock Slide move, dodge doesn't make any sense. Frogadier doesn't have any defensive skills, so he trades injuries to see who falls first. Frogadier opened his mouth and spit out a stream of water, bubble formed a line, and volleyed unlike Geodude. Onix is so huge that it is impossible to dodge, which is why Ninfeng didn't let Frogadier get closer. Rock Tomb. Kinnan had already made a move. 3 huge stones suddenly landed in front of Onix and blocked Bubble Beam. Boom. Immediately, deep gouge marks appeared on the boulder, but did not penetrate. Rock Tomb itself is an offensive move, but Kinnan uses it as a defensive move. In other words, it's a combination of offense and defense. Quick attack. Ninfeng began to plan the second round of attack. Frogadier's figure disappeared again, flickering in a piece of Rock Throw, and rushing towards Onix in the face of Rock Throw's blow. Dragon Breath. Onix opened his mouth and spat out a thick, dark green flame that swept across the battlefield. The forward Frogadier can only break immediately and jump back to avoid the Dragon Breath. Iron-tailed Kinnan's attack came in waves. Advertisement. Onix's huge body suddenly twisted, and the huge snake tail flashed with dazzling silver light, like a steel knife, and suddenly swept from the side, and the rock tomb in front of him was also swept away. Cut. The volleying Frogadier can only condense a shimmering kunai in his hand to resist. But this kind of resistance was obviously ineffective, and in the next second, it was blasted directly into the sidewall by Steelix's Iron Tail. Rock Slide, Rock Tomb, Dragon Breath, and Iron Tail. This Onix has built a system. Ninfeng said to himself. Can we continue to fight? Ninfeng looked at Frogadier, who had fallen from the wall. Calorie. Where? Frogadier stood up immediately. Good perseverance, but I suggest that it's better not to be stubborn, Kinnan kindly reminded. Even if Onix is so huge, even if his strength is not strong, the power of Iron Tail's weight alone is quite terrifying. Fighting hard again. Frogadier is not as simple as getting injured. Ninfeng ignored Kinnan's kindness and raised his hand to direct. Frogadier, use the water pulse. Kaloo! Frogadier looked up and shot out a water column. The jet of water volleyed around in a circle with a strong impact. Rock Tomb. Kinnan does the trick again. 3 giant rocks fell from the sky and landed in front of Onix against the water fluctuations. In the next second, there was a loud bang. The water pulse pierced through the rock abruptly and attacked Onix behind him. So powerful? Kinnan was speechless. Of course, it is stronger. Take species strength as an example. In fact, whether it is Frogadier or Greninja, the special attack species strength is higher than the physical attack. Ninfeng chose to cultivate Frogadier into a double sword, just because its special attack and physical attack are strong. Onix fell abruptly, and Earthquake moved. Defeat Onix LV20. Gain experience 800 as a rock plus ground Pokemon. Onix suffers 4 times the water damage, and even the aftermath of the water pulse that runs through the rock tomb can kill it in seconds. This move was originally a surprise that Ninfeng was going to use to deal with Kinnan's last Pokemon. 17. Amazing speed, terrible move power. Your Frogadier is well developed, but that's it. Kinnan sends out her third and last Pokemon. The Pokeball opens, and a blue stone statue falls out of it. Its name is Nosepass, and its level is marked on its head, LV23. Nosepass is Kinnan's trump card Pokemon and her signature Pokemon. Nosepass, use Thunder Wave. Frogadier, Encore Water Pulse. Ninfeng and Kinnan attacked. Nosepass wiggled his glowing red nose and dotted spark to form a thin, swift bolt of lightning that blinked and poured into Frogadier's body. Immediately, Frogadier was entangled in a little electric current and fell into the paralysis contest condition. However, Frogadier did not attack immediately, but took out a cherry fruit from his body and ate it. The paralysis contest condition dissipated immediately, and then he opened his mouth and blasted out a water pulse. Rock Tomb. Kinnan immediately defended. She expressed surprise that Frogadier carried Sakura Fruit. This guy studied me before the challenge? 3 giant rocks landed in front of Nosepass to block the water pulse, but as before, the rock tomb was penetrated and bombarded directly on Nosepass. Different from Onix, Nosepass only has a single rock type, which doubles the effect of water damage, but with its strong enough special defense, it takes the aftermath of water pulse. Thunder Shock. Kinnan wouldn't give Frogadier any more chances to turn things around. Dodge with Quick Attack. Ninfeng also shouted. Unfortunately, this time Frogadier didn't dodge successfully. The continuous water pulse had already bottomed out his physical strength, and the thunder shock was so fast that he couldn't dodge at all. Frogadier was immediately electrocuted by thunder shock and was incapacitated on the spot. Ninfeng took out the Pokeball and retracted it, then replaced it with another Pokeball and released it. Combusken appears. GG, Combusken, use Quick Attack. Nanfeng attacked immediately. Different from Frogadier's style of play, Combusken's fire type is restrained by the rock type, and its winning trick is only the chain kick of the fighting type. If you don't get closer, there is almost no suspense in this battle. Thunder Wave. Kinnan snorted softly. I don't know if I thought he was the owner of the electric gym, but it was obviously the rock-type Nosepass who was using electric-type moves continuously. Nosepass's big red nose immediately flashed spark towards Combusken. Combusken, who was running fast, didn't do any evasion at all, just took out the cherry fruit from his body silently, and immediately swallowed when his body was paralyzed by the thunder wave and entered the contest condition. Advertisement paralysis contest condition lifted. Combusken facing the Nosepass is a double kick. Seeing this scene, Kinnan wanted to swear. She is now completely convinced that Nanfeng must have studied his own style of play before the challenge. Otherwise, who would bring Sakura fruit to both of their Pokemon's carry-on items? Actually, it was exactly what Kinnan thought. As a player who has cleared the Emerald many times, how could Nanfeng, the Pokemon of the gym trainer, not remember what Pokemon Kinnan has? No matter how it is redesigned, one of the three Pokemons must be her representative Pokemon, Nosepass. He is obviously a Rock-type Pokemon, but he is proficient in Electric-type moves. Bring your own Sakura fruit, who is in contact with paralysis. This is also considered a rainy day. Anyway, I don't have any suitable Pokemon props for the two Pokemon to carry. Rock Tomb. Kinnan ordered in time. 3 giant rocks crashed down, both offensive and defensive. I saw Combusken kick the blockade of the giant rock, turned around in the air, and kicked the Nosepass on the ground. Just kick the Nosepass out. Pursue while winning, Quick Attack, and Double Kick, Nanfeng shouted, determined to directly decide the winner. Combusken is his second Pokemon, and it is also his last Pokemon. The level of Ralts is too low, so he will send it when he goes up, so Nanfeng did not bring it, but only brought 4 Zigzagoons to pick up some garbage. Discharge. Kinnan immediately switched his style of play. A dazzling spark suddenly flashed on Nosepass's body on the ground. In the blink of an eye, the violent current spread wildly around 10 meters around it. Combusken didn't dodge, but chose to dive in. Directly grit your teeth to resist the damage of discharge and volley splash. 1 kick, 2 feet. Blast the Nosepass into the walls of Rustboro Gym. The scene in front of Nanfeng suddenly changed. He returned to his small apartment, and the battle was over. Defeat Nosepass LV23, gain experience 690. Defeat the Rustboro Gym Master Kinnan and get a bonus of 1600. Kinnan. I lost, but I learned more from the battle just now. You are indeed stronger than me. Kinnan. This is the proof of defeating Rustboro Gym Stone Badge. After owning it, your cut will be upgraded to a real secret cut, Kinnan. In addition, this Rock Tomb skill CD and my breeder experience on Rock Pokemon are also given to you. I hope to meet you in future Pokemon tournaments. Advertisement. Looking at the words displayed on the screen, Nanfeng breathed a sigh of relief. It was a tough fight, but luckily I won in the end. However, from this gym battle, I also saw a lot of things. Gym trainer Pokemon are far more powerful than regular trainers. Just the grade. The trainer Pokemon on the road has only LV7 and LV9 waiting for a long time. Trainer Pokemon LV12 in the gym. As a result, Gym Trainer's Pokemon has the lowest LV17 and the highest LV23. This is the same as when I usually do first grade mathematics in class, and the test paper for the exam is the real college entrance examination. Outrageous. The modders of this game. You have no heart. Look down at the harvest. Stone Badge. The power of all Pokemon Rock moves in the team is increased by 10%, and the cut is upgraded to Secret Cut. Looking at this attribute, Nanfeng was confused. When did Badge bring attribute? The previous games did not. And this attribute, the first half of the previous sentence can be understood by oneself, but the second half of the sentence. Nanfeng silently opened the backpack. There are 2 more words in front of Cut's name. It is now called Secret Story Cut, and its power has been increased from 50 to 90. Hi. Nanfeng took a breath of cold air. Is there such a thing? Switching to the Pokemon attribute interface, the cut skills mastered by Frogadier have also become Secret Cut. Quickly completed the recording and let Frogadier personally demonstrate to himself. What is the difference between this ordinary cut and the esoteric cut? Frogadier tried it once. There is no change in the suffering that arises. It seems that the specific power still has to be seen in battle. In addition, there is a notebook in front of Nanfeng. Opening the notebook, Kinnan's training experience on Geodude, Onix, and Nosepass is written in beautiful small print. This is also not present in the original game version. Unfortunately, none of these 3 Pokémon are ready to cultivate themselves. 18. Arrived at Mo's Han Station. Next station, Chintang West Station. Nanfeng is sitting by the window, playing with the handheld while admiring the scenery outside the car window. He is now sitting on the train to Chintang University. It's been 3 days since we defeated Rustboro Gym trainer Kinnan. After defeating Kinnan, Nanfeng directly offline rest. The next day went online, and as soon as he left the Rustboro Gym, he met the old man who used to be in the Petalburg Gym. After all, he still did not escape the fate of being robbed of his briefcase by the water fleet. Moreover, he was robbed at the door of his own company, Duin Manufacturing Company, Limited. However, Nanfeng quickly helped him retrieve the briefcase in the Rusturf Tunnel to the right of Rustboro City. The pawn of the water fleet, who had been brutally abused by Nanfeng before, didn't get a lot of wisdom, and even his Pokémon didn't have the slightest level of improvement, so he could only be beaten by Nanfeng again. By the way, he also helped an old man named Hatch to get back the Wingull that was also taken away by the sailors of the water fleet. Back in Rustboro City, the uncle introduced Nanfeng to the chairman of Duin Manufacturing Company, Limited, President Xebec, who was also the father of the Hoenn region champion, Steven. He entrusted Nanfeng to help deliver the letter to Steven, who was mining in Granite Cave on Dewford Island. So Nanfeng went back to the 104 route and took the old Hatch's boat to Dewford Island. On the way, Nanfeng was not disturbed by his rival. Before leaving Rustboro Gym, I should have had a fight with her. Even if you don't encounter it, go out to sea from Route 104, cross Route 105, and soon arrive at Dewford Island. There is also a gym on Dewford Island called Dewford Gym, which is a fighting gym. Nanfeng immediately went to the challenge, because the granite cave where the letter was sent was dark, and the flash technique was needed to expand the field of vision. The flash technique is not difficult to obtain, just at the entrance of the granite cave. An uncle who was mining in the cave would send it, but flash, like cut, is a special skill that requires badge to be used in non-combat situations. If he wants to continue to push the main line, Nanfeng has to defeat the Dewford Gym first. Advertisement as a result. Not long after entering, Nanfeng was beaten. His nose was blue and his face was swollen. The younger brothers of the master of the Dewford Gym, Ivy Tree, are not very strong. The Pokemon level is only 17 and 18, and Combuskin and Frogadier can handle it. But Fujiki's strength? The first Pokemon is Meditite at level 23, and the second Pokemon is Machoke at level 26. Nanfeng was sent back to the Pokemon Center without seeing the third Pokemon. Fortunately, this game version change does not require paying half of the gold coins in his pocket as compensation, otherwise Nanfeng would have to cry to death on the spot, because the balance on his bank card has reached 300,000. When it drops 150,000, who doesn't feel pain? In order to defeat the Dewford Gym, Nanfeng once again started the flash mode, to be precise, the leveling mode. There are 2 leveling points. One is fishing. Talk to a fisherman on Dewford Island to get a broken fishing rod. Then we can go fishing on the beach. The Pokemon caught are either Magikarp or Tentacle. Pokemon levels are not bad. Both Magikarp and Tentacle are between level 10 to 15. However, the probability of catching a Magikarp is overwhelming, and the Pokemon it gives is less than half of the normal Pokemon. The speed of leveling here is too slow. The other is Granite Cave. The first floor of Granite Cave can still see the road clearly. There are 4 kinds of Pokemon that can be encountered here: Zubat, Makuhita, Geodude, and Abra. These 4 Pokemon. Zubat's final evolution, Crobat, is not bad. Makuhita can evolve the Superpower King, high attack blood, low speed. Nanfeng thinks that it is better to cultivate a Snorlax or Slaking. Geodude can evolve Golem, not like Super King. In the case of Abra, the final evolution is Alakazam, and it can also evolve Mega. Nanfeng chose between it and Ralts before. Advertisement, however, no matter which of the 4 Pokemon have flashed Flash, Nanfeng would not mind cultivating them. Put the second team, or be a mascot. In particular, if Abra is in a Flash, Nanfeng would mind letting it rotate with Gardevoir in the future. Gardevoir is in charge of Mimi, and it is in charge of killing. Arrived at Chintang West Station, next stop at Chintang East Station, Nanfeng hurriedly got up and got off the car, finally arriving at his destination. Before leaving the station, Nanfeng saw the surging crowd. Compared with the previous life, the world now has more Pokemon, which makes it even more crowded. Fortunately, due to the constraints of urban regulations, large-sized and heavy Pokemon such as Snorlax and Rhyperior are not allowed to appear in places such as train stations and airports. Otherwise, the estimated number of trains during the spring festival travel will not need to triple again. Nanfeng doesn't feel much about this big city that is several times more prosperous than Anqing. He had been to Qintang long ago in his previous life, when it was much more prosperous than now. It's just that Pokemon and humans live together and integrate such a beautiful scene. It is the first time that Nanfeng has seen such a scene, even in anime. On the way to the exit, as soon as I got off the train, a cool-dressed girl with earphones was waiting for the next train with EV in her arms. At the exit of the station, far away, a Sven youth wearing a floral shirt and a gold-framed frame and a Smeargle can be seen waiting for his girlfriend. Out of the station entrance, the security guards who maintain the order of the train station and a Stoutland happen to pass by. The sun is pouring down on a giant poke ball-style building, and people can be seen cheering and cheering. Everything is beautiful. That giant poke ball-style building is called the Pokemon Battle Tower, and if you compare Pokemon to a sport, it's the gym. I can come here to play in the future, Nanfeng said to himself. After taking a taxi, Nanfeng checked in at a hotel called Munchlax. Tomorrow will be the first admissions test for the Department of Breeding of Qintang University. 19. Qintang University is one of the top universities in Longhua with a history of more than 100 years. It is known as the cradle of dragon breeders. From here, there have been countless Pokemon breeder and Pokemon research leaders, each of which is second to none in the industry. Therefore, it is also extremely difficult to be admitted to the breeding department of Qintang University. Nanfeng just takes Qintang University as his first choice, and if it doesn't work, he will drop LV. After eating the hotel's buffet breakfast, Nanfeng took a taxi to Qintang University. Hotels close to Qintang University are all full, and it is estimated that Nanfeng also came to take the exam at Qintang University. The car quickly left the city and was driving on the coastal road. In the distance, a small island could be seen on the sea. The island was lined with buildings, prosperous trees, and lush flowers and plants. That's right, there is the Tingqiao campus of Qintang University, a university built on an independent island. After passing the coastal road, the taxi has to pass a bridge spanning 2 kilometers across the sea. It is said that when the Tingqiao campus was first established, there was no such bridge, and all students went to and from either through the Pokemon of the Flying Department or the waterway through the Pokemon of the Water Department. To this day, Nanfeng can still see someone flying into the Tingqiao campus while standing on the back of Baidiao. In addition to the human-shaped crosswalks on the left and right of the bridge, there are also Pokemon lanes, and I saw trainers riding Arcanines, flaming horses, and even Rhyhorn running wildly on it. Should I capture a Pokemon that can be used as a mount first? Nanfeng looked eagerly and couldn't help thinking. In the game, I don't seem to have encountered any Pokemon that is suitable as a mount. Poochyina's evolutionary Mytiana? No, that's too small. That Onyx? Nope, it's too big. You'll be restricted from the road, and you won't move fast when you're on the ground. If neither of these are good, what Pokemon can be used as a mount? While Nanfeng was thinking, the taxi arrived at the gate of Qintang University. Students, school is here. Okay, thank you, Master. Nanfeng paid and got off the taxi. The gate of the school is now full of people. Even though Qintang University deliberately divides the exam time and divides the staff, both the trainers taking the first exam and the trainers taking the second exam will come to see it first. If that's the case, that's fine. There are mainly parents who send their students to take the exam. Nanfeng didn't tell his parents that he was going to take the Qintang University entrance exam. He was going to tell them when he decided which university to go to, lest they worry. After showing the admission ticket, Nanfeng was released into Qintang University. The site is a green, as if entering a huge and vast forest. Even if there are human buildings erected in it, they are perfectly integrated with everything in nature. In addition to the green eye protection, there are also pieces of snow white that are eye-catching. Advertisement. In addition to being rich in breeders, Qintang University is also rich in beautiful women. According to the survey, boys prefer to fight and prefer more violent Pokemon such as fire and electricity, while girls like breeding and coordination and prefer water and grass Pokemon. Qintang University is not only the cradle of breeders, but also rich in trainers who are proficient in water system Pokemon. Naturally, in flourishes and yang declines, and beauty is like clouds. Nanfeng swore that he definitely did not come to Qintang University for this. Absolutely not. I have to say that the beautiful students are really a unique and beautiful landscape in Qintang University. JK, black silk, white silk, based on human nature to pursue beautiful things. Nanfeng couldn't help but admire it a few more times. You usually look like an honest person, but you actually like this kind of tune. Suddenly, A slightly mocking familiar voice sounded to Nan Feng's right hand. Nan Feng immediately saw a girl following the direction of the voice. A brown halter dress with a brown short skirt, black boots, a little makeup on her delicate face, 2 love earrings, and long burgundy hair behind her that cascaded down. What a... The powerful sister saw. Nan Feng looked at her a little familiar, but couldn't remember her name all of a sudden. You are. It's only been a month since you graduated and you don't know your classmates? Sister Sa snorted softly. Classmates? Nan Feng carefully matched the faces of all the classmates in his mind. Finally lock on a person. Li Xiaoyu. Nan Feng couldn't believe it. Li Xiaoyu and the person in front of him are 7-pointed in appearance and figure. It's just that Nan Feng has a hard time combining the figure of the girl in the school uniform with the mature hot beauty in front of her. Can it grow so well in a month? It seems that my charm is worth affirming. Li Xiaoyu was very satisfied with Nan Feng's reaction. Hee, Vileplume. Are you also applying for the breeding department of Qintang University? Nan Feng said unexpectedly. Seriously, Li Xiaoyu studied at Qintang University in her previous life, and even joined the financial circle after graduation. Because Nan Feng doesn't participate much in the alumni reunion, she doesn't know much about her future. Compared with the name Li Xiaoyu, Nan Feng is still impressed by the nickname Vileplume. Domineering, loyal, tall, and beautiful, born Macamp, she has been the female boss in the class since the first year of high school. Therefore, it also got the nickname of Vileplume. Now there is a world of Pokemon. In the memory of Nan Feng, it is said that she really has a Vileplume at home. Li Xiaoyu glared at Nan Feng. She had already graduated and called her high school nickname. No, I don't like the breeding department. I applied for the battle department, and I have already passed the exam. Saying that, the pokeball on Li Xiaoyu's waist opened, and a Croconaw fell to the ground. Advertisement howl. Oh, Croconaw roared in a rage. Feraligatr plus Vileplume? It's quite suitable. But Nan Feng thinks she is more compatible with her mother Macamp, both born with Macamp. Qintang University's battle department and breeding department exams were staggered, and the battle department exam ended 5 days ago. Stop talking. I still have something to do. Let's go ahead and have a meal together when you have time. Li Xiaoyu looked at her watch and walked away in a dashing pace. Nan Feng turned to leave, and it was almost time for his exam. There is a sign on the main road to guide candidates, and a beautiful senior sister wearing volunteer clothes is responsible for guiding. Following the signs for directions, Nan Feng quickly found the place for the written test. In a classroom, there are more than 10 people sitting scattered. There are only 20 people in one examination room. Why does it feel like a college entrance examination? Nan Feng whispered. In fact, it is also the college entrance examination, but the content of the test is all related to Pokemon. Focused on Pokemon breeder lore, interspersed with Pokemon Pokédex lore and Pokemon battle lore. For example, the third question of the test paper issued after the start of the test. Torchic occasionally devours small stones on the ground. What else does it do other than help digestion? Torchic is a royal family and belongs to the highly popular Pokemon. This question is quite clearly marked in the book knowledge. Nan Feng, as a scholar, naturally grasps this kind of knowledge from books. What's more, Li Qianqian already noted this when she designed the Pokemon recipe for her Torchic. Feel free to fill in, promote digestion, and raise the temperature of the flame it spews out. The bonus question is a restraint table for dictating the Pokemon attribute. Most of the topics are not a big problem, as long as you have carefully read the Pokemon breeding books and Pokemon Pokédex. The only thing that will really open up the score will be the open-ended questions that follow. Like the last one. If you have a regular nose pass, please write down your detailed breeder plan for it, 30 points. Nan Feng was stunned when he saw this topic. What a coincidence. Kin and Big Sister, this is a question for myself. 5 minutes. When all the candidates were thinking hard about the last open-ended question, Nan Feng spent 5 minutes writing the breeder plan of the ordinary nose pass. This is written literally according to Kin and Big Sister's breeder handbook. Don't think about it at all. It's almost like copying it down. Putting down the pen, Nan Feng looked around. There was still time for the exam. After thinking about it, Nan Feng picked up the pen again and wrote another breeder plan for the ordinary nose pass. Compared to the first one, the second is the nose pass information that Nan Feng learned on the internet. For example, it is a rock-type Pokemon, and its nose always faces north because of magnetism, and for this reason, it has mastered electrical skills and so on. A very disciplined breeder scheme was carried out. After all, Kin and Big Sister's breeder manual is from another world. If something goes wrong, it can be considered a remedy. They didn't say they could only write one copy anyway. When the second copy is finished, most of the candidates have already completed the last question. As for those who cannot write, the amount of time given is the same. After more than 10 minutes, the written test is over. Everyone got up and went to the next exam room. A group of people were complaining on the road. How could it be the breeder plan of the unpopular Pokemon who wrote Nosepass? All I remember these days is the Royal 3 breeder plan. That's right. I thought Chintang University's exams would be higher. I usually read the breeder records of dragon Pokemon. By the way, what is the effect of Torchic eating stones on the ground? I thought about it for a long time. That question is very simple. Torchic swallows stones to promote digestion and to increase the temperature of the flame. It's over. I wrote that Torchic can use this to increase rock-type resistance. You must be seriously ill. There was a lot of questions and answers in his ears, which made Ninfeng suddenly have an illusion of dreaming of the high school monthly card, midterm exam, and final exam. The next test room is in the battle zone, and the content of the test is Pokemon combat. Advertisement for Pokemon battles. The venue is not like a classroom that can accommodate so many students at the same time. Therefore, the actual test is conducted in batches. Nanfeng's exam number is 160. That is, the 160 candidates who took the practical exam. There are a total of 40 test rooms, which is equivalent to a batch of 40 display tests at the same time, which happens to be the last of the fourth batch. The speed is actually quite fast. Most of the students who came to take the Chintang University exam were fresh graduates, and it took at most 1 or 2 months to receive Pokemon. Pokemon's strength was low, and the trainer's level was limited. They couldn't play any tactics at all. Rao is so. The actual test starts at 9 o'clock, and at the beginning of 10 o'clock, it is Nanfeng's turn to go to the examination room. He was randomly assigned to the battlefield on the 24th. When he walked in, there was a referee on the side, and on the opposite side was a senior in school uniform, a sweet senior. When he smiled, he would have 2 dimples on his face. Junior, give your admission ticket to the referee, and we are ready to start the competition. Seeing that it was a handsome junior, the senior's tone softened a bit. Good senior sister, Nanfeng hurried over and handed the admission ticket to the referee. The referee scanned the admission ticket with a machine, and Nanfeng returned to the trainer position. The Chintang University entrance examination, Pokemon actual combat part of the competition now begins. Both the examiner and the candidate have one Pokemon available. When one side's Pokemon is incapacitated, the battle is over. The referee announced the rules. Now ask both parties to send their own Pokemon. Senior sister took out a Pokeball from her bag and waited for Nanfeng to prepare to send out Pokemon. It's just that Nanfeng has not taken out the Pokeball. Don't be nervous, Junior. Even if you lose, the referee and I will rate you and your Pokemon's performance in the battle after the battle. It can still be a high score. Senior sister indicated that Nanfeng should not be nervous. Okay, Nanfeng agreed, but he wasn't nervous. He was just thinking about what Pokemon to use in this battle. Forget it. Let's have a formal fight. Nanfeng took off the third Pokeball and threw the Pokeball out of his hand at the same time as his senior. Immediately, 2 Pokemon landed. The Pokemon sent by the senpai is a little blue duck, which is a water plus flying type Pokemon called Ducklet. She is loved by female trainers because the final evolution type is the beautiful Swanna. Obviously, this senior is a Swanna lover, with a small flower on Ducklet's head, dressed up very beautifully. The Pokemon sent by Nanfeng is Ralts. After several days of leveling, its level has been raised to level 18. The same level as Combuskin and Frogadier, only 2 levels away from evolving to Kirlia. Advertisement what? A sudden scream made Nanfeng want to cover his ears. I saw that the senior sister standing opposite Nanfeng's eyes has become a love type. Flash Ralts. This exclamation was full of deep envy and desire. He won. I give full marks. The senior pointed to Ralts and said to the referee seriously and loudly, Please, the battle hasn't started yet. The referee reminded helplessly. Flash Ralts are really rare. But they shouldn't be? Not so. If the senior sister knew what the referee was thinking now, she would probably spray the opponent's head with blood without hesitation. What not to be? Is this very good? Ralts itself is sought after by a large number of trainers because of its strong fighting power and beautiful appearance. Its rarity is equivalent to the quasi-god Pokemon. For girls, especially coordinators who are preparing to develop into the contest competition, Ralts is a Pokemon who is sure not to change the beast. Quasi-divine beasts, those Pokemons where Ralts look good. What's more, it's another Flash Ralts. Put it on the contest competition, this is Wang Jia. Without any performance, it is synonymous with beauty. Ahem, the examiner pays attention to controlling his emotions. If you like Pokemon, you can wait until the battle is over. The referee reminded the senior again. Senpai only restrained a little, but both her eyes and her body clearly showed her love for this Ralts, and she almost ate it on the spot. La Lu. Ralts glanced at Nan Feng timidly. The other Pokemon trainer's eyes were so hot, so scary. Nan Feng hurriedly reassured, "It's okay. We just need to fight next." The referee confirmed that the two sides were in place and immediately issued the battle order. Battle begins. 21. Qiantang University, Tingqiao Campus Laboratory Building D. Examination Paper Correction Classroom. What this group of candidates wrote: there is actually a chance for Nosepass to learn all attack skills. Follow the path of physical attack and special attack to follow the fortress. You're pretty good. I also let Nosepass learn fighting skills and use it with quick attack. Nosepass can walk 1 meter in a year, which is slower than a snail. Quick attack? It's impossible to learn it in this life. I guess the guy who wrote this doesn't even know what a Nosepass is. It hurts my brain. I can't do it. I have to rest for a while, and I have to prepare food for the Nosepasses in the afternoon. Don't say it. I still have a magnetic test I haven't done yet. I guess I'll be busy until midnight. A group of senior sisters in school uniforms grumbled while marking exam papers. But I only dare to complain a few words. The person responsible for the questioning and review of this exam is their tutor Lin Jian, the youngest professor of Qiantang University, master Pokemon breeder, and the owner of Qiantang Taoist Hall. Lin Jian is sitting next to him. It's on. What are you? I have an even more outrageous one. What to crush the electromagnetic or and sprinkle it on babiri berry and choppleberry as food for Nosepass, but also to find the potential of Nosepass to stimulate evolution by ultra-high-intensity electromagnetic fields. This right, what is it? Ha ha ha. There is such a strange thing. There is a cheerful air in the examination paper correction classroom. Lin Jian was sitting on the sofa. He was reading the latest issue of the Pokemon Ultra Times journal. When he heard the words babiri berry and ultra-intensity magnetic field, he raised his head slightly. Bring me your paper. Have a look. The student who was holding the test paper and laughing hurriedly handed the test paper to Lin Jian. Lin Jian took the exam, swept her eyes, and slowly sat up straight, her brows furrowing more and more deeply. This person's level is not very good, and he wrote another breeder plan as if he was showing off his skills. But the second breeder plan is quite satisfactory. Minter, how many points are appropriate? The student asked tentatively. Not very good? Show off your skills? Lin Jian sneered and loosened her tight brows slightly. The one who is not very good is you. This candidate is afraid that the person who will change the test will not understand the first breeder plan. So he wrote the second regular breeder plan. The student was stunned for a moment, secretly slandering where there are such powerful candidates. Mark this test paper, confirm his identity, and invite him to join my team after admission. Lin Jian threw the test paper back to the students. The names of all the exam papers were masked. Otherwise, he would now want to call this person over to meet him. Don't worry, since you have such attainments for an unpopular Pokemon like Nosepass, it shouldn't be difficult to get into Qiantang University. Yes, tutor. The student took the test paper and suddenly raised his head to ask again. Then the score for this last question? What about the score? Full score, Lin Jian replied casually, rubbing his chin, and then instructed. Today's laboratory's magnetic field is set up earlier, and the intensity is tried to be increased by 50%. Advertisement. With that said, Lin Jian got up and walked out of the office. Yes, tutor. Seeing Lin Jian go out, the students looked at each other in dismay. Suddenly all came together. Come on, little Li. Let's take a look at this breeder plan that you don't understand. Roll, roll, roll. Qiantang University Tingqiao Campus, number 24 facing the battlefield. Senior, be careful. Although I like your Ralts, I won't let you down in a Pokemon battle. Senior sister's eyes were stern, her eyes sparkling. Ducklet, use aerial ace. The light blue duckling with a heart on its head flapped its wings and quickly lifted into the air, swooping down abruptly, as if an eagle had locked on its prey and was hunting. Nice speed. Nan Feng couldn't help admiring it. The speed of this ducklet is very fast. Obviously, it was carefully trained by the senior, and the level should not be low. Raise your hand to command, Ralts. Use confusion, Lalu. Ralts raised his delicate little hand and pointed at the ducklet who was swooping down on it. In an instant, an invisible wave erupted. Yeah, Ducklet's body froze in mid-air, and his body floated uncontrollably in mid-air. Ralts moved down slightly. Boom! Ducklet's body slammed on the ground like a cannonball, and even blasted a large pit with a radius of 1 meter on the ground. What a strong confusion! Ralts is great. Senior sister's eyes were brighter. She was praising Rival for doing a good job even though her Pokemon was at a disadvantage. Ducklet, Winky Face, am I your Pokemon, or is Ralts your Pokemon? But my Ducklet is not so easy to beat. Ducklet, use the water gun. Senpai started to switch styles, but her switching style is meaningless to Nanfeng. One shot of confusion. If it's not enough, then 2 shots, until it can't stand up anymore. Nanfeng instructed Ralts. Advertisement. Ralts raised its little hand again, pointed at Ducklet, and confusion erupted. Ducklet, who had just accumulated water in his mouth, immediately blocked his mouth. The next second, he rose from the ground, flew to an altitude of more than 10 meters, and then fell suddenly. Boom! Ground trembled, and Ducklet was smashed to the ground again, and the water flowed out of his mouth uncontrollably, as if he had been urinated. And this is just the beginning. In front of Senior Sister, Nanfeng, and the referee, Ducklet kept flying, falling, flying, and falling. Dong 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 dong. Ducklet was pounded on the ground like a broken sandbag. The scene was once too cruel. Nanfeng wiped his sweat silently, and the little girl Ralts didn't know the severity of her attack. I might have liked it at first, but now I guess. There was another scream, and I saw Senior Sister look crazy. It looks so good looking, but it's cruel. I like it so much. Nanfeng? Really just follow the 5 senses? Look, I knew that the first time Ralts came on stage, I knew it would win. Senior Sister pointed to Ralts and said to the referee. The referee wiped away his sweat silently. Please, big sister, you are the loser. Suddenly there was some sympathy for the Ducklet. Ducklet, who has lost the ability to fight. Thank you. I just lost the ability to fight, and I won't love you again in the future. Ducklet is incapacitated. The Ralts win. So the final winner is Nanfeng. The referee announced the final result. 22. After the Pokemon battle was over, Senior Sister took Nanfeng to take a photo with Ralts. It is estimated that I want to show off in the circle of friends. Ralts did not refuse. Nanfeng also let them shoot. After the filming, Nanfeng and the sophomore named Wang Xiaoman also added Fishin friends to each other, and the other party said that they would keep in touch in the future. Nanfeng suspects that she is going to soak herself. Since you can't own Ralts, you must own the owner of Ralts. Save the country with curves. Society is dangerous. Boys should protect themselves when they are outside. Pokemon combat is the last item in the Chintang University entrance exam. After the exam is over, Nanfeng just needs to go back and wait for the final results to be announced on the internet. It only takes 3 days for the online results to be published. So Nanfeng plans to stay in Chintang until the final results are announced. If you haven't been admitted to Chintang University, you can consider taking the Chintang Breeding College, which is also in Chintang. Chintang Breeding College is a professional, pure breeding-oriented university, and its breeding major is also among the top 10 in the country. Back at the hotel, Nanfeng rested on the bed. Turn on the handheld, and the protagonist is still in Duford Town. Continue to level up on the first floor of Granite Cave. While leveling, Nanfeng complained. The probability of flashing this flash has definitely been adjusted. Otherwise, how could it be possible to flash for a few days without seeing a single flash? After wandering around Granite Cave for a long time, Nanfeng fought at least 600 Pokemon in one day, and roughly estimated that he fought at least 3,000 times. As a result, not even a Geodude's flash came out. You are already a mature handheld. You have to learn to dodge by yourself. Nanfeng was complaining when suddenly a Pokemon wearing red gloves appeared on the screen. Red gloves are reminiscent of Hitmonchan. But now the Pokemon appearing in front of Nanfeng is a Makuhita, a little fat man with a burdened head, fleshy, and looks a little silly. Ordinary Makuhita's gloves are black, so this Makuhita is a shiny Pokemon. It's finally here. Nanfeng wondered if he had to complain about it, so that the console could, sensible to deliver shiny Pokemon to him. However, the Flash Makuhita was the one he least wanted. Needless to say, Abra and Zubat, as long as they come out and their individual values are good, Nanfeng will be the main force to cultivate. Flash Geodude can also be trained as a golem to play with. Advertisement. This Makuhita is probably only a mascot in his own lineup. After catching the Flash Ralts, this ordinary shiny Pokemon couldn't make Nanfeng any more excited. Throw the Pokeball at your fingertips. This little burden is also very sensible. After 2 Pokeballs, it was subdued obediently. Open its attribute panel to see it. Makuhita, fighting, Flash, level, 14 ability. Perseverance. When the Pokemon of this ability is in a status condition other than dying, its attack is increased by 50%, and the attack that ignores the burn becomes the original 50% effect. Individual values: stamina, 31, attack, 31, special attack, 12, defense, 20, special defense, 27, speed, 31, skills: slap attack, arm thrust, tackle, focus energy, sand attack, force palm, carrying item, black belt, fighting type moves power increased by 10%, 3V of physical strength, physical attack, and speed. Moderate. The best individual value distribution should be stamina, attack, defense, and special defense. Makihita's Evolution Stone Super King, a Pokemon with high attack and blood, can be used as a tank if it has a good defense. But if it's a tank, it doesn't seem to be as good as Pokemon such as Aggron and Snorlax. As for the two attributes of speed and special attack, Makihita does not do much. Forget it, it's a mascot anyway. Nanfeng threw it into the computer without thinking. Let Professor Birch take care of you for now. When you have money, you can use Makihita to play when you can discharge the junk pickup team. For Pokemon players, collecting is the biggest driver of their time. I can do without Flash, but I must have it. Before throwing it into the computer, Nanfeng took off the black belt from Makihita and put it on Torchic. It's a pity that there is no thief skill, otherwise getting rich is not a dream, Nanfeng said regretfully. Pokemon items have never been cheap, and this is the black belt right now. It's not a standard black belt. A standard black belt can bring a 20% bonus to fighting type moves, and the market price is 100,000. The black belt with a 10% bonus is also worth about 50,000 yuan. When Nanfeng first came to Dewford Island to search for resources, he also got Silk Scarf from an NPC, which can increase the power of normal skills by 15%. However, he didn't seem to have any Pokemon to carry, so Nanfeng threw it into the store. Advertisement 75,000. This price is impossible to sell in the game, but it is easy to sell after the game store is connected to the real store. Isn't that making money faster than picking up trash? Unfortunately, the probability of Wild Makihita carrying black belt is not high, and there is no thief skill. If Nanfeng wants to grab one by one and check it, it will be a waste of leveling time. Now I am not very short of money. After mastering the thief skill, I can come here to level up and make a fortune at the same time. I practiced with Ralts for a while. From level 18 to 20, at the current leveling point, there is no difference in experience between the two levels. Nanfeng has been training for a day. Work hard, and tonight should be able to make Ralts evolve into Kirlia. It was almost noon. Nanfeng rolled over on the bed, was about to order takeout, and continued to fight when a phone call came in. Take a look at the name displayed on the phone. Li Xiaoyu Vileplume? Uh-huh. Why is this girl calling herself? Nanfeng picked up the phone. Nanfeng, have you eaten lunch yet? Li Xiaoyu said in a carefree voice. Not yet. How's it going? Let's have lunch together? I also called a few friends with me. Any girls? Have. Is it beautiful? Don't go if you are not beautiful. Li Xiaoyu glanced at Minro, her roommate who was sitting beside her, petite and lovely. Okay, second only to me. Worse than you? Then I won't go. Stop talking nonsense. Is this girl bad? I'm in the snack street by the West Lake. Come here quickly. Before Nanfeng said anything, Li Xiaoyu hung up the phone, and Nanfeng also got up from the bed. As a high school classmate and an invitation from a beautiful woman, there is really no reason to refuse. After changing a pair of clothes, I went downstairs to take a taxi and went straight to the snack street by the West Lake. 23. Arriving at Snack Street, two beauties and a boy were waiting for him at the intersection. Two beauties, one hot and bold, the other's IGBU. The passers-by didn't take a second glance, and even some ignorant men came up to strike up a conversation. Before they could open their mouths, a big pink dog blocked their way, a Gramble with a ferocious expression. As a result, I could only shy away. As for the boy next to him, he was vigilantly patrolling the approaching men around him. Compared to Gramble, Nanfeng felt that the boy was more like a dog. You're too slow, aren't you? How dare you let the two beauties wait for you here for 20 minutes? Li Xiaoyu saw Nanfeng and went up and put her arms around his shoulder. No way, the hotel is far away. As an apology, I'll treat you today. Nanfeng shrugged, getting too close. He could smell a faint orchid fragrance. Vileplume's choice of perfume is good, and it smells good. Okay, then I can let go of eating today. I must make you bleed. Li Xiaoyu became ruthless and introduced Stephanie beside Nanfeng. Minro, my roommate, is also from the battle department of Qintang University. Hello, Minro greeted softly, as her name suggests, and her words were soft and weak, making people involuntarily want to take care of her if she didn't have the vicious Gramble beside her. Gramble. Stero, oh hashtag, hello, as for this, my name is Yi Junlang. Like Xiaoro, I'm a classmate from the battle department of Chintang University. The boy introduced himself and came up to shake hands enthusiastically. Toshiro? The name? A bit narcissistic. Nan Feng looked at Yi Junlang carefully and seriously. Oh, but that's it. Nan Feng gently shook Yi Junlang politely and then released it. Min Ro on the side frowned inadvertently when she heard Yi Junlang call her Xiaoro. A few people said hello in a shallow way, and they got to know each other. Immediately, the four of them started walking towards the interior of the snack street. It was the summer vacation, and when colleges and universities were recruiting students, the snack street, which was supposed to open in the evening, opened early, and people came and went in an endless stream. I want to eat stinky tofu. Entering the snack street, the first one on the right, Li Xiaoyu couldn't walk after seeing the stinky tofu. Bai Nan Feng proudly said, "We are also a millionaire a month. Can't eat a bowl of stinky tofu? Throw a bowl? Advertisement, I'll come." Yi Junling took a step to block Nan Feng and paid the bill directly. Nan Feng looked at Li Xiaoyu. Li Xiaoyu glanced at Min Ro quietly, and then looked up at the sky silently. Okay, got it. Min Ro's suitor. I want lean meatballs. Purchase. Yi Junling bought another order. I want to eat octopus balls. Purchase. Yi Junling continued to pay the bill. All the way down, Nan Feng wondered, when did he have a servant who helped pay the bills? There's nothing wrong with having someone help pay, though. Nan Feng is also happy to have such a big head. All the way to the end of the snack street, the four of them sat down at the long table by the West Lake, eating and chatting. How was the exam today? Are you sure? Li Xiaoyu put an octopus ball in her mouth and asked Nan Feng while eating. It's okay. At least fill in the blanks. That should be stable. With Nan Feng's 3-year classmate, Li Xiaoyu had already seen clearly the faces of these academic bullies. Fill in the blanks equals I will write. I didn't do well this time equals I was still the first. I forgot to review equals I don't need to review at all. Big Breeder, can I ask you to help write the Pokemon breeder plan in the future? Nan Feng raised his hand and said okay and said, as an old classmate, I will definitely give you a preferential price. Cut. Stingy, Li Xiaoyu pouted. Then can I trouble you in the future? Min Ro cast a hopeful look. Before Nan Feng could answer, Yi Junlang, who was on the side, had already said, Xiaoro, I have a professional senior breeder in my family. I will pack your Pokemon breeder in the future. No, thank you. I will do the breeder plan myself. As soon as Yi Junlang's voice fell, Min Ro refused immediately. Her expressionless and gentle face seemed to be covered with frost. It's okay. You don't have to be so outspoken. Yi Junlang thought that Min Ro was being polite. Advertisement, no. Min Ro increased her tone. Yi Junlang could only shut up. Nan Feng raised his eyebrows. It seems to be a licking dog theater. With Min Ro's refusal, the scene cooled down for a while. Li Xiaoyu ate the octopus balls to himself, as if he didn't hear anything. Nan Feng didn't feel embarrassed at all, but was very interested. Before he was reborn, he was a man who was running for 4. There was no such scene around him. The love between adults knew the result after the first test. While Nan Feng was laughing and enjoying the awkward atmosphere, an exclamation from the West Lake caught everyone's attention. Congratulations to trainer Li Ming and Chen Hong for winning and becoming the first group of players to pass the qualifiers. Nan Feng looked in the direction of the sound and found that a special battlefield had been set up on the surface of the West Lake. Taking the West Lake as the site, a piece of wood is laid on the lake as a place to step on. Pokemon battle it out on the board. The trainers from both sides stood on the stone platform nailed into the West Lake to direct the battle. West Lake Arena. Li Xiaoyu's eyes lit up. What is the West Lake Arena? Nan Feng asked. The West Lake Arena is a Pokemon doubles competition organized by the official West Lake attractions to attract traffic. The final winner will be rewarded by the official West Lake attractions and will give some rare Pokemon eggs or Pokemon props. The person who explained is Yi Junlang. It's rare to have such an opportunity. Let's all participate in it. Yi Junlang looked at Min Ro. Xiaoro, I'm with you. No, Coco is a little tired today. Min Ro touched Gramble. Bu, Gramble, named Coco, rubbed his master's little hand comfortably. Nan Feng, what do you say? Li Xiaoyu was about to move. Yes, Nan Feng agreed casually. Defeating rival in reality, Pokemon can also gain experience. Go. Sister will take you to fly. Li Xiaoyu dragged Nan Feng and ran away. Doubles requires 2 people, so I can't leave Min Ro alone here. Yi Junlang can only stand silently beside Min Ro and watch Nan Feng and Li Xiaoyu come to power. Forgot to play. There will be a chapter in a while. 24. The rules of the West Lake Arena are doubles, and the qualifiers are to defeat the official trainer combination. After the 2 groups of teams have passed the qualifiers, the West Lake Arena will officially start. The beginning is the final. One group of trainers has already beaten the official trainer group, and only one final spot remains. Today's Westlake Arena is shorter than usual, because today is University Freshman Special. Knowing that the universities in Xintang are all recruiting students, the Westlake Arena naturally wants to take advantage of this popularity. This time, only the high school graduates who came to take the university entrance exam in Xintang can only sign up for the Westlake Arena. Rival strength is not strong, and there are many people watching the battle, so it is suitable for. That's probably what all the contestants thought. As a result, most of the contestants were beaten by the official trainer group. Most of the freshmen have only been training Pokemon for a month and a half, and it is a doubles match with other people. The performance cannot be said to be terrible, or at least it is unbearable to look at. Invite trainers Li Xiaoyu and Nan Feng to play. After witnessing a few over-the-top trainers get kicked off the court, it was finally Li Xiaoyu and Nan Feng's turn to play. Don't be afraid. Look at me. See, Li Xiaoyu patted Nan Feng's shoulder with a look of, big sister covering you. Sister, I'm already lying down. Nan Feng spread out his hands and opened it. The official trainer standing opposite Li Xiaoyu and Nan Feng is a pair of young brothers. The rival who has just been replaced, the official trainer also has multiple combinations to rotate. Big brother, it's a couple coming up, the younger brother reminded in a low voice. Big brother's eyes narrowed as he carefully looked at Nan Feng and Li Xiaoyu. Damn, still handsome. I don't like these dog couples who show their affection the most. This one greets them with all my strength. Breaking up a pair is a pair. That's right. Don't bully our brother without a girlfriend. The younger brother was filled with righteous indignation. The referee on the side silently casts pity. The big brother glared at the younger brother. Don't shout so loudly. Now is the qualifier for the Westlake Arena. Trainers Zhou Yang and Zhou Yu will play against trainers Li Xiaoyu and Nan Feng. Each trainer has one Pokemon available. When two Pokemons on one side lose their fighting ability, the battle ends. Now, please send your own Pokemon at the same time. The referee announced the rules of the game and signaled. Advertisement. The four immediately picked up the Pokeball at the same time and threw it soaring in the sky. As the silver light flickered, four Pokemon landed on the floating board on the water surface of the West Lake. Brothers Zhou Yang and Zhou Yu sent Krabby and Horsia respectively. Nan Feng and Li Xiaoyu sent Frogadier and Croconaw. The West Lake Arena is a standard water-based battlefield, and most of the trainers who come to participate will dispatch Pokemon, which are also water-based. Frogadier? Li Xiaoyu was surprised that Nan Feng's Pokemon had completed an evolution. Although it is difficult to tell the strength of Pokemon from the appearance, for the novice trainer, the number of times a certain Pokemon has evolved can be roughly used as a measure of its strength. I thought that Nan Feng was admitted to the breeding department, and the strength of Pokemon should be a weakness, but now it seems that it is not necessarily. The referee confirmed that both sides were in place, and immediately announced, the battle begins. Horsa used Twister. Zhou Yang grabbed it at the beginning. Horsia sprayed forward like a kowtow, and a small whirlwind rolled out. As the Earl Dervish form of the Dragon-type Pokemon Kingdra, the dragon blood in its body enabled it to master some weak Dragon-type moves during Horsia's time. A small whirlwind immediately rolled the water, condensed into a water spout, and rushed forward. The range was so large that it could involve both Croconaw and Frogadier on the two floating boards at the same time. Avoid. Li Xiaoyu and Nan Feng gave orders at the same time. The two Pokemon immediately jumped left and right into the water, avoiding the ever-growing tornado. Just after jumping into the water, a silvery floating light came from the underwater, hitting only Croconaw's face. Bang! A shimmering silver pincer slammed into Croconaw's jaw, blasting it straight out of the water. It's Krabby, who jumps into Westlake when Horsia uses Twister to get everyone's attention, and locks on Croconaw at the beginning, and attacks when Croconaw jumps into the water. Croconaw, use Bite. This was not the first time Li Xiaoyu had fought, and he immediately launched a counterattack. Howl! Croconaw, who was knocked into the air, bowed his head suddenly. A faint lacquer black light flashed in his mouth, and charged down with a fierce face, biting towards Krabby. Krabby! Encore! Alloy Claw! Zhou Yu was not afraid at all. Advertisement. Haze, followed up on Sunday, not to attack, but to disrupt the battlefield and keep Frogadier out of the Croconaw and Krabby fight. Rolling haze struck, like a black veilstone separating Frogadier and Croconaw, as well as Nan Feng and Li Xiaoyu. Excessive fog and surrounds Frogadier. Nan Feng was not in a hurry to issue an order, but just let Frogadier stay silent, in case Horsia would attack at any time. He believed that Li Xiaoyu and her Croconaw should be able to hold on for a while. And on the other side of Haze, No orders were given on Sunday, and Horsia had joined Croconaw and Krabby in a 2-on-1 battle. Croconaw, throw it to the ground. Li Xiaoyu was also not afraid. Croconaw, with all his might, the brute force of bite Krabby's pincers, twisted and slammed it on the float. Beat again and again. Although in the process it also suffered from Horsia's you put. But as a crocodile, how could bite prey later let go? 3 slams to defeat Krabby directly. Krabby is incapacitated. The referee announced the result immediately. Krabby was defeated? Nanfeng frowned slightly, and Horsia didn't attack himself in just a few minutes. Nope, Horsia is supposed to go 2-on-1 with Krabby. But don't worry, even if Croconaw is defeated, his own Frogadier can still be the winner. And when the smoke clears, what jumped into Nanfeng's eyes was Croconaw's Aqua Jet, dashing in front of Horsia and connecting with Bite. Croconaw thumped Horsia repeatedly on the ground like a broken sandbag. The referee quickly announced the final result. Horsia and Krabby lost their ability to fight. So the final winners are Nanfeng and Li Xiaoyu. Congratulations to trainer Li Ming and Chen Hong for their victory and becoming the second group of players who passed the qualifiers. Please rest for a while. We are about to start the finals. 25. Nanfeng scratched his head. This time he was lying and winning. Sister said to take you to fly, and she will take you to fly. Li Xiaoyu patted Nanfeng's shoulder carelessly, not paying any attention to Nanfeng's just paddling. Amazing! Your Croconaw is extremely fierce. The future trainer of the water system will be you, Li Xiaoyu. Nanfeng sent flatter at the right time. In addition, he guessed that Li Xiaoyu's Croconaw should not come from the Pokemon breeding house. It is wild and fierce. Too much S**x, it is indeed a Pokemon suitable for battle. Be bold. I'm running for Elite, Li Xiaoyu said bluntly. Nanfeng wiped his sweat silently, won the preliminaries of the street competition, and pointed at Elite. After you won the Chintang University grade competition, you still don't point your finger at the champion, but at the leader? In the scattered applause around, Nanfeng and Li Xiaoyu walked down to the battlefield. The official game of the Westlake Arena will start in half an hour, which is the recovery time for Croconaw. However, Croconaw was not seriously injured. Spray some super potion, and half an hour of recovery time is enough. On the other side of the Westlake Arena, the group that won the first place in the Westlake Arena was reminiscing about the battle between Nanfeng and Li Xiaoyu just now. The Frogadier is very fast, and the Croconaw's strength is also very strong. I am afraid it will be a little difficult for us to win. Chen Hong was a little worried. But as her boyfriend, Li Ming has the exact opposite opinion. It's not difficult. The official trainer combination has already provided us with tactical ideas. First, we will join forces to kill Croconaw, and then we will fight Frogadier by 2-on-1. The battle just now has proved a point. Between Frogadier and Croconaw, it is obvious that the Croconaw is the big father. After killing the big father, the younger brother is not the fish on the chopping board? How to play how you want to play. Chen Hong thought about it for a while, and it was indeed the truth that listened to you within half an hour. There were more and more spectators around. All high school graduates from all over the country who came to Chintang to study. When you go to Chintang, you must visit the Westlake. Now there are so many spectators on the edge of the Westlake, and the number of people will only increase. Soon, the time for rest and waiting was over, and the trainers from both sides came on the court one after another. Now is the final of the Westlake Arena. Trainer Li Ming and Chen Hong will play against Trainer Li Xiaoyu and Nanfeng. Each trainer has one Pokemon available. When 2 Pokemons on one side lose their fighting ability, the battle is over. The referee confirmed the contest condition of the 4 trainers and immediately raised his hand. Advertisement now, please send out your own Pokemon at the same time. The 4 of them faced each other, while taking off the Pokeball from the waist and throwing it into the air. The Pokeball opens, and 4 Pokemon land. Nanfeng and Li Xiaoyu are still the combination of Frogadier plus Croconaw. The tournament did not prohibit players from using other Pokemon in the second game. But Nanfeng is not going to change, and Li Xiaoyu has no Pokemon to change. Li Ming and Chen Hong's Pokemon are Azumarill and Chinchou. The former is a fat blue mouse, known as the Dragon Slayer because of his fairy type and Hercules talents. There is also a picture of Azumarill killing dragons in his previous life. The latter is that Chinchou is a rare dual system Pokemon of electricity and water, which belongs to a relatively high ecological niche in large rivers. The referee confirmed that the 2 sides were in place, raised his hand and slashed announcing, "The game begins. Azumarill, use Freezing Fist. Chinchou, use Smoke." Li Ming and Chen Hong immediately launched a fierce attack at the beginning of the battle. Azumarill jumped with a punch, but it was not Frogadier and Croconaw that attacked, but the surface of West Lake. Light blue light erupted from Azumarill's fist, like a wave, freezing all the affected water. Frozen areas are limited, but have been sealed off around Frogadier and Croconaw. The intention of the move is quite obvious, which is to block Frogadier and Croconaw from jumping into the water. Chinchou spit haze out of his mouth and quickly spread to the opposite battlefield, directly dividing Croconaw and Frogadier. Again? Nanfeng raised his eyebrows. Frogadier. Lean on Croconaw's side, Kalu. Frogadier immediately flew sideways, but just 2 steps. A fine spark swept in, forcing Frogadier to jump back. It's still successful. Nanfeng was speechless. Shouldn't he have no game experience again? Advertisement. As soon as he finished speaking, an Azumarill suddenly emerged from the smoke. A little blue light flashed on its small fist, and a freezing fist hit Frogadier directly. The tempered fighting consciousness made Frogadier aware of the moment rival appeared. His strong hind limbs immediately exerted force, and he jumped back with a relaxed stroke, dodging Azumarill's sneak attack. Nanfeng reacted immediately and sneered. It seems that I was taken as a weakness to break through. Don't let it run away. Keep freezing fists. Li Ming shouted. Azumarill was extremely fierce. His fists kept waving, and the light blue smoothness lingered, making the surrounding temperature drop a little bit. Nanfeng suspects that this should be a male Azumarill, with a strong desire to attack, with the aura that he will blow Frogadier to pieces. Your sneak attack didn't hit, and now you can hit it in a head-to-head confrontation? Frogadier's speed and combat experience all overwhelmed this Azumarill, easily jumping, dodging, and dodging the Azumarill's freezing punch with ease. On the other hand, Li Xiaoyu also detected rival's tactics and couldn't help rolling his eyes, yelling at these guys for being boring. Then he wanted to direct Croconaw to go in the direction of Frogadier, but he was caught in the smoke by Chinchou's thunder wave, and he was immediately paralyzed in place, and it couldn't even support him. Li Xiaoyu can only hope that Nanfeng will at least cause some damage to them, and he will be able to relax a little when he goes back and forth. Seeing that Azumarill's continuous attacks were fruitless, Qianhong hurriedly joined the battlefield. Chinchou used Thunder Shock. The 2 small lanterns beside Chinchou gleamed as Spark bombarded Frogadier. 2 Pokémons, one attacking from the front, and the other blocking the block from a distance, suddenly made it more difficult for Frogadier to dodge. It's just to increase the difficulty of dodging. Frogadier's quick movements can still dodge easily. Let Chinchou move forward, and we will block his dodging space from left to right. Li Ming said loudly to his girlfriend. Up to now, he faintly felt that there was something wrong with his tactical choice target.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card, directly on my channel, or right here on the screen. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.